me, did that get really fast, or is this music not shutting off? Okay, that's better. This is NFL Chaos with Jeremy. I am Jeremy, and I bring the chaos. It's been a long time. It feels like a long time. It's been 3 days, but it feels like 2 weeks, doesn't it? Guys, we have a great guest tonight. Super, super excited about it. You're going to love it. It's going to be great. But first, this. I would regret it if people look back at the first episode and you weren't on it.
Yeah, well, I like that. It's called forward thinking.
We have one of the worst beats in the world. We do. Our beat is horrible.
Connor could shove that article up his ass.
And then I went to that game, and I was like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen in my life. I'm a Jet fan. This is going to be the greatest run ever. Yeah.
No, because if they take Aquanu, I'm not complaining.
Joe Douglas is the king of keeping shit close to the vest.
A 2, a 4, and a 6 for Darnold?
Did the Jets really ruin Sam Darnold, or did Sam Darnold just suck all along and we were just trying to talk ourselves into it?
And Hamilton is a player who can potentially make a very big impact.
And suddenly here we are today. You can't get rid of him.
Right. It's like a plague.
Joe Douglas was hired because he's not those general managers.
Okay, Luscious.
Somebody is going to fall just like Elijah Moore did, just like Michael Carter did.
You know, what would, if you had one sentence to say to Joe Douglas, what would you say? So you would say, you had me at hello, and then give him a big old wet one right on the smack.
All right, that was fun. All right, what's going on, chat? I see we got that's what's going on. Y2K and J. Cole, my so-called son. I'm gonna right now introduce that co-esteemed co-host of mine, that man of the hour, the man with the data, the man with the info, the guy who keeps me honest. Y2K99, aka Adam. I didn't give you any music today. Sorry about that.
Music-free introduction. Man, the production value's going down on the show, isn't it? Will our budget get cut?
We can give our next guest some music, can't we?
I'm good. All right, I'm good with that. He deserves some music.
Okay, you ready?
I am ready. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to introduce to you at this time one of the OGs of Jets YouTube content. This guy's been doing it for 10 years, going back to 2012. That was so long ago. Back then when the Jets had a bad season, it actually surprised us. And he gave me my first opportunity, July of 2021. He had me on his show, and that has led to opportunities like this. So you can either credit him or blame him. I'll accept it either way. But you can find this man on Facebook. You can find him on Twitter under the name YoungJ000, Twitch, and of course he's still on YouTube. And remember, on social media, talk at him because he talks back. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Long Beach Joe.
All right.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Salutes. I want to thank you guys for having me on. Thank you so much, Wake, for that intro. That was phenomenal. Man, I didn't even know I've been doing content for that long.
I just arranged your videos,
crazy.
oldest to newest. It said 10 years ago, so pretty
Oh
easy.
man, that wow. Salutes to y'all. And again, thank you for having me on. I'm excited to talk to you folks today about the Jets and just everything we got going on. And also salutes to everyone in the chat as well.
Yeah, we got a bunch of them. Nick Nessie, good friend of ours, is here. 343 Foxton, welcome back. Cool Kev in the house. Thanks for being here. We got J. Cole in the house, and he's already offered to cook you shrimp.
I warned you.
You know, people are
At
who
least
they
he's
are.
going to
Salutes to you.
shellfish. At least he's not working his way straight up to like red meat or anything like that.
Salutes to everybody in the chat, you know. Salutes to J. Cole.
He's starting with the shrimp. Okay, so oh my God, these New Yorkers. So anyway, we'll do our normal format when we have a new guest and everything. And you may have told this story 1,000 times on your own channel, but a lot of new people, they meeting you for the first time. And the typical standard question is, like me, when I tell people I live in Sacramento, I always have to explain that I grew up in Brooklyn when they say, why the Jets? So you're in Long Beach. What's your story, man? Why the Jets?
Yeah, you know, a lot of people ask me this. You know, I didn't grow up on the East Coast. My family is not, from the East Coast either. Honestly, I was not into football until one day I'm sitting at home. I'm watching the TV. Monday night comes on, and it's Dolphins Jets, the Monday Night Miracle game. And I'm sitting back. And again, I grew up big basketball fan. I'm a huge Lakers fan. I was a basketball player growing up my entire life. And where I grew up, it was all about, if you like basketball, you stuck with basketball. That's it. If you liked football, you stuck with football. That's it. There is no melding of sports, in certain spots in Long Beach. It's like, if you like this, you watch this, that's it. That's just how I grew up. So I grew up playing basketball, big into that, grew up a big Lakers fan. So it was like, that's all I'm doing. Well, I'm sitting watching, and Monday Night Football game comes on. There's nothing else really on. The Lakers aren't playing. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll sit back and I'll watch this, whatever, not a big deal. And I'm watching, and I'm watching this team in green just get destroyed for the first couple of quarters. I'm like, man, this team sucks. This team sucks. Jeez Louise, like, how bad can you be getting beat? Jason Taylor is talking crazy to Jets fans, he's just going off. And I'm like, man, this team is awful. And then I watch them slowly get back into the game. Jumbo Elliott catches a touchdown. The story goes on. Jets come back, end up winning the football game. And I was shocked, stunned. And so I said to myself, you know what? I'm not really a big football fan. I was very young when this happened. I'm not a really big football fan, but let me see what's going on with this team. Maybe they got something. And I started watching, and the more I followed the Jets, the more I watched them, the more I fell in love with football. And the more that I just started to follow football and follow the team, and I just fell in love with the team. And it just absolutely took me, to just wanting to know everything about the team and what was going on and who was where and how they could improve and all those things. And I've been just a huge fan ever since then, ever since I was young. So that's literally how I became a Jets fan.
Wow, I love it. And who were your favorite players early on? Like, who stood out to you?
Easily. Well, listen, my favorite Jet of all time, and I get some slack from this from certain people, but my favorite Jet of all time is Chad Pennington. If I ever met Chad Pennington, I would completely fan out. Like that,
I would fanboy for him, and I would no apologies for it.
Yeah, it's because it's a couple of things. One, he wasn't the most physically gifted quarterback ever. He wasn't. He didn't have the biggest arm. He wasn't the most athletic. But the way he used his mind to manipulate what was going on out there on the field, he could check things quickly. He understood defenses like beyond belief. And so that pushed him past his physical limitations. He was unbelievably accurate. And he was he was the last guy that we were excited about where we felt like we have a franchise quarterback. This is a guy that we signed. Remember, we gave him that big contract. He was supposed to be here for years. And then, the injury and so on and so forth happened. So Chad Pennington is my favorite Jet of all time. Of course, I love Curtis Martin. Who doesn't? Like, I don't think there's a Jets fan that won't talk about Curtis Martin if you were alive at that time. But, Revis is definitely up there. Loved Revis. Of course, we had some situations with him. He left, it came back. But, those are definitely, my top Jets there. And of course, Lavernius Cole, Santana Moss, Marcus Coleman, Aaron Glenn too was huge for me as well. I really liked Aaron Glenn. Oh, and Victor Green. Victor Green was, man, Victor Green. So that's, those are my guys. And my favorite Jets head coach of all time is Rex Ryan. I know I'm gonna get something for that, but I love Rex. I love.
You don't have
Rex.
a lot to choose from. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Man, I loved Rex. I understood when it was his time to go because things had just ran its course. I did think he kind of got a raw deal, especially with the general manager that he ended up getting stuck with. It was just kind of set up for him to kind of fail. But I'm telling you, Rex Ryan was unbelievable. But I also, loved Herm as well. Loved Herm a lot.
He played to win the game.
Yes, sir.
You'll be as you're talking about those days. Whenever you start talking about Pennington, you talk about that. My brother has just moved, but he's lived in San Diego for the last 24 years, and he worked for Public Utilities, Sempra Energy. You may have heard of him, Sempra Utilities. And they used to, like, he was an IT leader. So companies and vendors would kiss his butt and invite him to games. So I used to get to go to the Charger games. Like every time I went down from the Bay Area, I'd go down to San Diego and we'd go to the Chargers games. And one time he calls me up and he says, one time he calls me up and he goes, "Hey," he goes, "So your Jets, man, they're playing the Chargers in the playoffs." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "You want to go?" And sits like 20th row, 30-yard line. I'm like, "Yeah, I want to go." So there I am with a bunch of, we get to go to a huge party ahead of time, all Chargers fans. One of his good friends, me and him sitting there. I had to be on my best behavior because I didn't want to get killed. I wanted to survive. But man, Pennington threw that bomb like a 50-yard in the air after I thought his shoulder was shot. I said, he's got, we thought never again. And I watched that ball fly, and I think it was Santonio Holmes, and it was like unbelievable. It was like one of the greatest games, but I had to like kind of scurry out of there really quietly and kind of contain my emotions so I didn't get killed.
Just to be sure, this is the game where Rex was coaching, or was this the earlier one when Herman was coaching?
Herman was coaching that.
Oh, okay.
So the first time we beat
that was the Santana Moss, I believe, wasn't that?
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah, it was Santana Moss, and it was the next week we lost to Pittsburgh.
The Doug Bryan fiasco, where he got way too conservative, and a lot of people blame Doug Bryan, but let's be honest, they completely stalled that offense. I mean, he was just having Chad take kneel downs, and they were having Doug Bryan, who's not exactly going to be mistaken for Justin Tucker or Evan McPherson, kicking to the open area of Heinz Field, that open part of the stadium where nobody made those field goals.
Yeah.
So Herman had as much to do with that. And I like Herman too, certainly as a man, but he had as much to do with that loss as Doug Bryan, if not more.
Yeah. Shout out to my man, Mr. Oshida. He's my 4th grade teacher, one of my teachers in my school. Hanging out, coming by. I love it. I'm not. Oh God, it's J. Cole. He's already asking the weird question. So so I love that list of favorite players. It reminds me of that time. I'm a bit older than you. I can give away my age when I start saying some of the guys in the chat, like I was like, are singing my sentiments, saying, "What about Klecko? What about Gastineau? What about Nick Schuler and Lance Mel?" And we go back. I'm old, but one of my favorite Jets that everybody forgets about. Everybody's talked about all these Jets, and I love them all. I used to love this Jet. He played in the late 80s to early 90s. And you probably know his name when I say it, but cornerback James Hasty.
I remember.
What I loved about James Hasty is that he never shut up. Like you could see it on the TV screen. He was talking trash and never stopped. Like you could see the face, like the helmet moved, like barking. And we would just laugh because we were like, like some years that we were horrible and we're like getting killed by 3 touchdowns and he's still talking trash and we're watching, laughing, going, "Look at him, he doesn't shut up. He's the best." It was like he was not only a good player, but I always loved him for that. I loved him for that because he could make me laugh even like through the hard times and the hard years of the early 90s. So great player. But yeah, you said it, Curtis Martin, man. Oof.
Yep.
Before him.
Yeah. And I'm certainly going to give some love to Jericho Cotchery. I think a lot of times when people ask who's the most underrated Jet, I feel like Koch has kind of become the chic answer all of a sudden, to where he's not even underrated anymore. I think he's one of those players, maybe we didn't appreciate him as much until he left. And I feel like we never quite got the straight story on that. I still believe he wanted to be released to be more of a focal point of an offense. And Tannenbaum chose to grant it. And to be honest, I wish he hadn't, because I don't think that offense ever recovered from losing him. I mean, I still think maybe one of the gutsiest plays I ever saw was that Cleveland game in overtime when he, I believe, pulled his groin, came back and made that ridiculous catch in overtime. So, that's like, if I was to have a Jet jersey again of like a player who was playing during his time, I would have had a Cotchery jersey back then.
Yeah. I mean, Jericho was a great player. Definitely a great slot receiver, a guy that was a chain mover. Like you said as well, that play, where he clearly is hurt. You can see it. You can see that he's dealing with, I think it was a hamstring or a groin injury or something like that, where he dove out and still was able to make a catch. So yeah, that guy was serious.
Yeah, Larry, Green Beans already got Freeman McNeil reserved. Yeah, Green Beans already claimed Freeman.
Well, I was just about to say Freeman when you started talking about it. That's who I was about to go to. I was just to say before Curtis Martin, there was Freeman McNeil. He was our guy. Man, he was amazing. But Curtis Martin was the greatest running back that the Jets ever had. I know the old timers are going to say Riggins,
Yeah.
but he had his best years for the Redskins. I mean, as far as our best performer in a Jet uniform, it's got to be Curtis Martin.
Yeah, by far.
Right?
I mean, this guy, he did everything and never fumbled. I mean, there wasn't a thing that Curtis couldn't do out there. Could catch the football, could run, was a great blocker. He was a star, honestly, of Jets offense for so long. It was ridiculous. We just leaned on him and ran the football heavy. So Curtis Martin was phenomenal when he was in the league.
And he was even a better person than he was a player. That makes it even sweeter.
Yep.
So, okay, so now we know about your history of liking the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't know this. Adam says you go back 10 years doing this as part of a content provider. Can you tell us about that? Like, how did you get into this game?
Oh, I mean, he just reminded me. It's been a long time. Now I really think
you can hire me as your agent.
It has been a long time. So I got into making content, and it was really just out of, I didn't know any Jets fans, and I had opinions about the team, and I just felt like I wanted to, say what I wanted to say and get in contact and get in contact with people, and we would go back and forth. And so I started on YouTube, just making content and talking about the team, every so often when I felt like it. I wasn't, consistent or anything like that. Just would, pop on and talk about, how I felt about the games and all that stuff. Again, at the time, as you guys know, Jets for quite a while were pretty bad. Okay. Like it was very up and down seasons, and there was a lot of frustration to be had. And so I would get on there and I would vent my frustration. Okay. To be completely honest, and talk about, things that need to change on the team. And so I continued to do that. I also got on a radio show as well. And that where I continued to make content that way, moved on. And now I have my own show as well, the Long Beach Joe Show. Again, everybody that wants to check it out, Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube. Again, Long Beach Joe Jets, just like my name. Hit that, put that in on YouTube, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We do weekly radio shows. I'll be going live Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. I take all callers. Don't curse on my show because I will get you out of there. Don't do that. All right. But I listen to all takes, and that's just really what it's been about for me. It's just making content and connecting with other Jets fans, because honestly, the fan base, it's not that big, to be completely, especially, everybody else travels well. Steelers fans, you can meet Steelers fans in California. You can meet Cowboys fans in California.
Yeah.
You can Redskins fans, all these other, generally Jets fans are only in New York, and they're only a certain New York or Jersey, and there's only certain parts of New York and Jersey that they're in. Outside of that, you don't see no green jerseys, at all. I walk around with Jets stuff, Jets paraphernalia all the time, and people look at me like I'm an alien or something. They go, "Whoa, you're a Jets fan? What are you doing out here? What's going on out here?" So that's why I was making content, honestly, was to connect with other fans.
Wow. You know what? I'm going to say this till the day I die. There are football. It's not regional. It's not a regional sport like baseball, hockey, or basketball is. You will find random fans of random teams all over the country. I mean, my story. I mean, my club is 600 people. I'm not bragging about it. It's just what it is. I just came along 25 years after it started, so there are fans everywhere you go. And I think, let's be honest, a lot of Jets fans are in hiding. They're a little bit ashamed right now. They haven't taken a piece of Jets memorabilia out of their closets since 2011. So the bandwagon is going to fill up once again. It is, because right now there's no such thing as a bandwagon Jets fan.
Yeah,
the closet fan is going to be coming back.
Yeah.
So just watch out. They're around you, but they're in hiding.
They'll magically appear. But I could totally relate. It was like the hardest part when the first time I moved to the Bay Area. When I was in the Bay Area, it was so rough. There's just nobody. The one thing is, after that Chargers playoff game, I did meet someone in the airport going back to the Bay Area. So I did have somebody to watch that Pittsburgh game with. Mountain View, California.
Yeah.
We both walked out devastated. But this has been an amazing year for me. Like, because, I do the game. I actually do a live watch party with Green Bean. I'm
All
sure you know
right.
Green Bean,
Yeah.
on Jets Nation. And it's like, I told him after the season, I said, I haven't enjoyed a season like that in years, because it was the first time in so long that I felt like I was hanging out with a friend watching a Jets game.
Yeah.
Like, instead of being alone with no one to celebrate with, no one to complain with. So I could relate completely. This is the best part about this for me too, is like just connecting to other Jets fans. And now when the Jets do something well or something goes right, we have this whole community of people to celebrate with and to bicker with or argue with when things happen and don't happen. But it's nice because, it's like back to when I grew up in Brooklyn and you were surrounded by fans and you had people to talk about it with. But I think I even have more now in this world than I had, even growing up in New York. So.
Yeah, well, maybe a smaller group, but you're hard pressed to find a more passionate fan base than us.
Yeah,
misery breeds passion.
Yeah, it does, and we have been miserable together for quite a long time. It doesn't matter what you're doing, where you're at, but I tell you what, if you bleed green and you're a Jets fan, we are all tied together regardless. It really is like that.
Braden, who's watching from New Zealand, wants to know if I got you flowers. I don't get the joke.
New Zealand. I mean, we cross oceans around here, Joe.
Well, salutes to him.
And my brother comes in with his dry wit humor, saying there should be a lot of new Jet fans because of the new West Side Story movie.
Yeah, just like the San Jose Sharks got a lot of new fans because of the movie too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Maybe the Winnipeg Jets got it.
After I was going to answer his question, but my brother beat me to the answer. I'm from Canarsie, Brooklyn, right by the water. The one of the original homes of the great bagels and Bialys. People used to line up outside the places in my neighborhood from all over Brooklyn. It was great. I could walk over and get them anytime I wanted. So, all right. So just so everybody knows, people are already asking us about Instagram and the draft and what they said about the draft. But I just wanted to go back and get some history first and, get to know you, which this is great. But now let's move over and let's talk about the Jets today. So let's just go. Adam Gase gets fired. Joe Douglas now takes over the team. The Jets make a decision people didn't notice, but this was clutch. When they changed the organizational structure and they said the coach will be under JD. We'll have a proper hierarchy, which was already a good sign. The Jets then, I think it really started with he takes Becton, signs some other offensive linemen, shows some commitment to the offensive line, and the rebuild and the stripping down starts to begin. What do you think about it all? Like, how do you feel about, since Gase has gone from that moment, that low of Gase leaves to right now? Give me an idea of where you are in this roller coaster.
I thought ever since they fired Adam Gase and moved forward, I thought it was a phenomenal move. I think one of the biggest mistakes that the New York Jets made, though, in moving on from Gase as well, was honestly, they should have gotten rid of Mike McCagnon before they did, because they should have allowed Joe Douglas to come in and have a draft and have a free agency, right? Adam Gase was the worst decision, one of the worst. I believe it is the worst decision that the New York Jets have made in their franchise history, because what it did was it set up, a complete year of failure for Sam Darnold, who is what we thought at the time was going to be our franchise quarterback. We essentially wasted a ton of draft capital, not only moving up to acquire him, but then taking him as high as we did, because he was set up to fail. That team was never going to be prepared around him. There was never enough, capital put into the right positions to make sure that he would succeed. There was never anything in place to ensure that he would succeed, either from a coaching standpoint, because you went from Todd Bowles to Adam Gase to finish him off. There was no way he was going to be successful. There was no way anyone was going to be successful under Adam Gase, and he has a history of making people completely unsuccessful. What we did when we brought in Adam Gase was set the franchise back years, because not only did you ruin your quarterback, you also ruined other players as well. Adam Gase has shown you year and year and time again that he does not understand how to utilize offensive personnel properly at all. He showed you that. For a team that was in a rebuild, if you're drafting guys and the head coach, the guy that's supposed to be the offensive guru, has shown you that he cannot utilize offensive talent to their full potential, what are we doing? If you do not understand how to utilize young players to their full potential, or you can't get them there, then we're lost in the sauce. You're never going to get out of the rebuild. I was praying for the day that they fired him and got rid of him, and that's what they did. So moving forward, when they brought in, they got Joe Douglas in the building, and then we were able to get Sulla. And like you said, that was huge to ensure that the New York Jets finally had structure, because before that, it was the coach was reporting to the owner and the GMs reporting to the owner. That's why we had the issues that we had between Maccagnan and Gaze. That's how Gaze got Maccagnan fired. These were the circus areas that we had here. So once there was structure in the building, and then we got Sulla in the building, it was like we stepped into modern day NFL, the big boy table, where you actually, it's time to be successful. We're actually going to have a plan. And bringing in a general manager with the mindset of Joe Douglas is phenomenal. You can clearly see, and I know we'll get into the things that he's done as far as the free agent signings this year and stuff like that. You can clearly see that there's a plan. You can clearly see that Joe Douglas is not Mike Maccagnan, that he's not going to get used. He's not going to get abused. He's not going to drastically overpay. He won't waste draft capital frivolously. He understands the idea of ensuring that you hit on mid-round picks, or make sure that you do whatever you can to get the best out of those mid-round picks, and you don't blow through drafts like Mike Maccagnan used to do, where you have his whole first draft class gone, and still within like 2 or 3 years, pretty much everybody was gone from the first draft class. All that stuff is done, and I am so thankful that we got a guy like that in here, because this is what the New York Jets needed to turn the corner. This is what made us a laughingstock, a lack of organizational integrity, a lack of direction was the biggest problem with the New York Jets for the longest. You can go back and look at anything, that's the reason most of our quarterbacks were never successful, because we didn't build around them properly. We didn't build teams properly either, so I love what's been done. I love that we brought in Robert Sulla as well, a guy that's a motivator, a guy that understands how to utilize personnel, a guy that understands how to bring in coaches as well to do the jobs that they need to do too. And if you look around the NFL, the second that we brought in Robert Sulla, the second that it was announced he's going to be the New York Jets coach, let me tell you something. Guys from around the league started saying, man, we're so happy for him. There were so many guys that came out. We're so happy for him. Jets did it right. Jets got the right guy, from Richard Sherman to so on and so forth. There were so many players that were happy for him. They respect him. That has pushed us forward into a type of position where not only do people, love the hiring where he's going to come in and really change this thing around, but we're looked at differently by players around the NFL now. And a lot of these free agent signings that we'll talk about in a second will show you that. That was huge. We need that. We needed that update in the face of players in the NFL, because, again, before that, we weren't even a destination for free agents. They would look at us like a payday. They would look at us like a team that they could utilize to get leverage off of other teams. That is slowly dissipating because of who we've brought in.
Yeah, and wait until we start getting wins.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and that's coming soon. The way we're building, we're going to be there soon. I truly believe that.
Adam? I wanted to make sure if you wanted to ask a question. I didn't want to give you
No. After that, I mean, there's a number of places we could go with this, but I guess I'll ask this question. What's been your favorite move that you've seen so far in free agency? What's one thing that kind of maybe caught you off guard, or something that has given you some hope for next season?
Are you talking about ever, or are you just talking about this year's free agency?
We're going to focus on this offseason.
Okay. Listen, and I know a lot of people talking about a lot of different things that he's done, but in my opinion, the Lakeland Tomlinson signing was huge to me, and here's why. We just took Zach Wilson in a draft, right? Young kid. We're hoping that this guy's going to be the franchise quarterback that we've been waiting for years. Well, you can't do that if you don't protect him. What has been the biggest issue for the New York Jets since we drafted Sam Darnold, who was supposed to be our guy. It's been interior pressure. Pass rush, guys getting after it, guys smacking our quarterback around. Sam was decimated by that, and we saw that. We saw the injuries from Sam because of it. We saw him see ghost literally against the Patriots because of a lot of issues of interior pressure. We saw him not be able to, be able to groom and mature here properly, be able to turn into what we thought he would turn into because of interior pass rush. Well, you flip it around to, this past season with Zach Wilson, you saw the exact same thing. He was running for his life early, big sacks early. That game against Carolina, he was getting smacked around. Oh, by the way, the first New England game, he got smacked around. Then he got hit a bunch against Denver. Then the next game against New England, he jacks up his PCL. You keep getting a QB hurt like that, and you won't have to worry about him, panning out because he won't be around for long. You know what I'm saying? And we saw that this year because he jacked up his PCL this year. You cannot grow quarterbacks if they're constantly getting smacked around and hurt. And that shows me that signing to get a Pro Bowl guy, a guy that understands the system, and a guy that's going to be able to come in here and be quality, a quality guard here shows that Joe Douglas is dedicated to his plan and he's dedicated to Zach Wilson. That's huge because we're going to put everything around him that he needs to succeed. Okay. And if he sucks, if he's terrible, we'll know that it's you, dog. That was the biggest problem with Sam Darnold. All right. And again, I'm being honest. I'm an SC guy. Fight on. I'm just going to say that. Okay. But I'm not a homer. Okay. I'm not a homer. Okay. I'm keeping it honest. Everybody has big question marks about Sam Darnold because he was never given the talent here to succeed. That was the biggest question was, who is Sam Darnold? We don't know because he's never been given the talent. The coaching was never there. There was big question marks, but we had to move on from him. If Zach Wilson sucks under Joe Douglas, there'll be no question that you suck, Sam, or you suck, Zach. It won't be a question about talent. There'll be talent around him. If he doesn't succeed, it's on him. What that allows you to do is move on from him and just get the next quarterback so that they come in with what? The table already set. They'll be protected because there'll be offensive line help here. They'll have weapons. They'll have everything necessary to succeed. That's huge when you're trying to grow a quarterback.
Yeah, I would say the free agency was one for me the moment I found out Tomlinson. That was my number one on my wish list. Yep. The other alternate to that was Daniels from Chicago. I like the versatility at center, but there was nothing that came above Laken Tomlinson. I said, if we get Laken Tomlinson and you put him opposite of AVT, and I'm someone who I'm very confident in Becton, and I'm not buying into any of the crap people are saying. He was playing at an all-pro level. Somebody rolled on his leg last year. That's all it is. And the way Fant played, I'm starting to feel really good about the offensive line. When your weak spot is an average center, because he's not a bad center. When the weakest part of your offensive line is that one of them is just an average center. Like he's not a below average in his position. He's just average. He's not a strength. You don't brag about him. And there's things, and he's definitely upgradable. And we might see him upgraded. But when that's the worst of it, I'm feeling much, much better than last year for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, unquestionably. I mean, if we look at Sam's history, we were pretty nervous about the first half of the season. It wasn't looking too good. He had the happy feet. He was learning those bad habits. But then he started to get a little bit better. He showed some more signs as the year went on. He was developing a connection with Robbie Anderson and some other receivers. And we thought, okay, this might work. Well, Todd Bowles got fired, which he absolutely deserved. I'm sorry. He was a terrible coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now we'll have talent to coach. Now people will think, he was great the whole time. He was still terrible with the Jets. I'm sorry. I can't wait for that press conference in Tampa Bay. The only two things the man gets passionate about are Chips Ahoy and Gladys Knight music. That is it. All right, so that's it about Todd Bowles. But they downgraded to Adam Gase. It was a downgrade. So we got a whole new offensive system to learn, a new coordinator with the immortal Dowell Loggins. I mean, as soon as I heard the name of Dowell Loggins, I'm like, how inspiring is this hire going to be? And he never got better after that. So we have to keep in mind, for all of Zach's critics, and especially for the people who are knocking Mike LaFleur, and we know who those people are, in the chat. You know, there's no doubt this offense got better and better as the offensive line got better. You know, and remember, he didn't have Corey Davis the second half of the season, who was the guy he was zoned in on. I mean, he was going to Davis time after time after time. It was once he got hurt that he started going to Elijah Moore and other receivers like that. So since we have the exact same staff returning next year and they kept getting better, that gives me a lot of hope. Plus, you have a much better offensive line. Now, they need, I think, 2 more wide receivers. Because if they get one injury at wide receiver, this unit is in a huge heap of trouble. Huge heap of trouble. I mean, we're going to watch Tariq Black and DJ Montgomery and, maybe Denzel Mims. He'll still be on the practice squad or wherever he is. He'll be in the witness protection program. That's where he usually winds up. But, you know, we want the outside receiver in the first round. A lot of people want that wide receiver at 10. I get it. But, folks, let's not think that just because we draft one more wide receiver that we have a complete unit. We still need more depth. And even though I'm not the biggest Keelan Cole fan, I would bring him back now. You know, if nothing else, for the entertaining interview pieces that he has on the Jets website. So, Joe, what do you think about wide receiver? Is there a certain player you want them to draft? We have our friend J. Cole who's asking Garrett Wilson versus Drake London, or is there another receiver?
Neither.
Yeah, and that's a great statement and a great question. Like you talked about as well. You know, Zach was coming back after he came back from his injury. He started to really target Elijah Moore. We saw him really come up. And again, you know, with Corey Davis going down with that injury, he missed a lot of time. Our wide receiver core was really banged up this year, and we saw, you know, at times where there was, you know, certain guys where we were hoping would be out there and they weren't because they were dealing with a lot of injuries. I think that for me, the New York Jets do need to worry about the depth of this wide receiver core. I know that there's a lot of people ready to give up on Corey Davis. I do like Corey Davis. I like the way that he plays, but he does need to understand how to catch the football a little bit more often. Okay. These drops, they got to stop. Okay. And he's also got to be on the field. Your best ability is availability. I think that's huge as well. So, and the same thing with Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore missed some time this year as well, too, because of injuries as well. So when I look at the situation at 10, I like Drake London a lot. I know a lot of people like Drake, or a lot of people like Garrett Wilson too. I'd be fine with that too. But there's a lot of smoke surrounding Drake London and the New York Jets. There's been a lot of talk about him coming there. And again, I'm an SC guy. Listen, Drake London would be phenomenal here. Big body wide receiver. He'd make it very easy for Zach Wilson. You don't have to be unbelievably accurate. Throw it in his direction. He's big enough to go up and get it. There's a lot of things you can teach, but you can't teach big. That's just how it works. You know, you can teach a lot of stuff, but you can't teach big. He's a guy that can get open. I know that a lot of people knock on his speed and stuff like that. If you watch SC games, he's moving. It's not like he's surrounded by 6 people and he's just jumping up in a crowd. No, he's running away from people if you watch these games. So he can move. So I think that he could be a Jets target there. I know a lot of people are also talking about Jameson Williams as well from Alabama in the second. That could be a target too. Jahan Dotson from Penn has also been talked about as well. So I could see the New York Jets, you know, possibly going wide receiver in the second round to kind of clear things up too. So that's a way we can move as well. And there's a lot of smoke around the Jets and DK Metcalf. I've been hearing about this for so long, over and over again. DK Metcalf. I could see Joe Douglas wanting to swing a trade, especially when he was in, you know, on Tyreek Hill. He's not afraid to make a move for a player if he feels like he values them greatly. And again, if you look at that Tyreek Hill deal, he wasn't going to get fleeced in that one either. 2 seconds and a third, I think it was, we were going to give up. So we would keep our 2 first. That could have absolutely worked out for us, because if you make a move like that, it still allows you to trade down in the first round and recoup a lot of that draft capital that you had given up to get Tyreek Hill. But of course, we didn't end up getting him. But that just shows you that Joe Douglas is going to be in. So I can see DK being the target and being a guy that we snatch up, maybe draft day or right before draft day. Or, you know, we can end up going, you know, wide receiver at 10 or even in the second round, because there's still other positions here that I think we could address with those 2 first-round picks.
I could certainly I've swung so hard in since I've seen the video and the footage on Twitter today about Jameson Williams and where he is in his recovery,
Mhm.
without the injury, there's no chance we get him at 10. I mean,
No.
this guy is like Chase last year. I mean, this guy
Mhm.
is going to be an elite receiver. When I saw that tape of where he is 2 months after an ACL surgery, this kid is special. I think he's head and shoulders above the rest of the class. I was watching a lot of tape today. I got motivated when I saw him doing that, and one thing I noticed was in watching some of these game film, and I was watching it against Georgia, and I was watching it against even Cincinnati, where it was a tough game for him. He was fighting for everything. There were plays where, aside from the fact that he gets downfield so fast and blows past cornerbacks and safeties, on his way he does these shake moves, these little twitches that pull people in and fool them. I mean, he is the crispest, smoothest route runner I've ever seen. I've never seen someone go so deep down the field, but also on the way do all these little jukes to like fake people out and shake them. I'm absolutely obsessed with getting Jameson Williams on this team. Like, if it was me, if he's there at 10, I sprint to the podium. And Jameson Williams, out of Alabama, Jameson Williams, wide receiver, he's a Jet, and I just ink the guy.
My only thing with Jameson Williams, I'm just going to play devil's advocate. The one thing that worries me about him is I feel like most of the catches I see him make, he's in space. I don't see him make a whole lot of contested catches, and in the NFL, you have to be able to do that. So while I definitely agree Williams is a fantastic prospect, I'm not going to go so far to say he is head and shoulders above Garrett Wilson or Drake London. I'm not ready to do that.
There's also Treylon Burks.
Oh,
I know a lot of people have just forgotten about this guy. I don't know what's going on, okay? But I love it because he could be there as well. There's a lot of talk that he might slide to the second round now. I know that the combine is big for a lot of people, okay? And I know that he ran I think it was a 4.5, and people were like, whoa, that's kind of slow. And there was some other stuff that supposedly had happened that kind of unimpressed some scouts, according to reports. There's been a lot of down talk about him sliding. So that's another guy as well that I think we should keep our eyes on too, that could end up with the New York Jets too.
There's so many good wide receivers out there in this draft that, not all of them are going to go in the first. I mean, Elijah Moore was the 5th or 6th wide receiver taken last year. Yeah. Just because you're the first taken, it doesn't necessarily mean you're the best, although Jamar Chase probably is. Well, but I think we got lucky that the Giants took Kadarius Toney instead of Elijah Moore.
I was going to say it helps us that the Giants were stupid. But the I say that if we were to take Jameson Williams with 10, and at 35, if you saw Burke still on the board, if we don't sign anyone or do anything at wide receiver before the draft, I have no problem with them grabbing Burks on top of him and and having both. I have no problem doubling up. If the value is there and if JD loves the tape and thinks the value's there, I will not complain, because Elijah Moore going into year 2, Jameson Williams and Burks coming up, like, that takes care of the future. I mean, you got young studs coming up for years. We're going to be set at wide receiver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I could possibly see that, but I think the New York Jets have so many needs elsewhere. Like, pass rush to me is immediate. Yeah. We must get some type of pass rusher. And when I talk about pass rush, I think a lot of people kind of get lost in the sauce because they go, okay, hey, we got Carl Lawson, we'll be fine. Well, Carl Lawson's coming off of a torn Achilles. And I'm going to keep it 100% real with you. We have no clue of what exactly we're going to get when we get him back, right? We don't know if Carl Lawson's going to be the same guy that he was before the injury, or if he's ever going to recover, and turn into that guy. And being a Jets fan, as y'all know, our luck is not always the best, right? We've had some situations, some injuries, and we hope guys would come back, and they didn't come back the same. So I would like to see the New York Jets double up on pass rusher. That's what I would like to see the New York Jets do. I want to absolutely maul people. That's what I want to do. Okay. I want to send guys at, quarterbacks this year and just destroy people, because if you look at other teams in the league that are constantly competing, that's what they have. They have multiple guys that they can send at you. We're running the 49ers offense. I'm on the West Coast. I watch the Niners. I'm forced to on a yearly basis. It sucks, but, I watch these guys. And let me tell you something. This defense that we're running, just like they're running, everything happens from pressure. Bosa, Warner, the other guys that they send at you as well, you got less than 2 seconds to make a decision or you're going to get crushed. That's how it works. Okay. And let me tell you something, that defense has been phenomenal for years. One of the biggest issues with our defense this year, no pass rush, nothing. After Carl Lawson went down, John Franklin Myers, he was, solid for a game or two, maybe 3 games, but the rest of the year he was, big question mark. He would be out on the field. Nobody would even know he was there. There was nobody to get after the quarterback. You'd have 30 years to throw the football against the Jets. We must change that. We haven't had a pass rusher since John Abraham. I mean, that's a long time. That's longer than I've been making content.
I agree.
That's longer than I've been making content.
That's longer than some of the people in the chat have been alive.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the draft coming that I'm rooting for more than for Kevin, for Kevon Thibodeau to be there at 4.
Yeah.
Like that's my dream. That right away that makes my draft. If we get Thibodeau, I am ecstatic.
Yeah.
And I'm with you on doubling up at edge. My little difference is I know you talked about Jermaine Johnson at 10. I love Jermaine Johnson. I'm a big fan. If we get Tibbs though, I'm very similar to you in the doubling up, except I would wait till I'm hoping, and this is a big hope, and I don't know if it's realistic or not. Maybe you could weigh in on it. I would love to double up. My double up guy would be 3rd round pick 69 if he's there. Boye Mafe.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about him. And honestly, I would, if before the Senior Bowl, right? Maybe. But now I've heard so much about him shooting up the board. It's been insane. I've heard some people actually talk about taking him late in the 1st round. I'm not losing it. I'm serious. There's been a lot of talk about that since the Senior Bowl because he absolutely showed out. So I don't think he's going to be there. Yeah. But for me, and, Jermaine Johnson for me would be a target. Particularly at 10. Look, I get it. Kayvon Thibodeau, if we got him, I'd love it. Be phenomenal. We fit him in there. He, rush the passer. But I want another guy. I want 2 guys or 3 guys to send at you immediately. And I want to destroy people this year. That's what I want. I want it. So if we have somebody go down, we got another young guy that can be here for years where we can just absolutely send pass rushers in waves, just like the Giants did when they won their Super Bowl. That's how they won it. They just send multiple people at you in waves and nobody could deal with it. That's what we must do. If we don't have pressure in this league, if you cannot get pressure on a quarterback, your defense is dead.
2 things I'll never complain about is offensive line and defensive line ever again.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you want wide receivers and running backs and like the flashy players. When you get older and you understand football, you understand the trenches and you see the great teams and what makes it possible. None of those specialty positions mean a thing if you can't block on offense, and it doesn't mean a thing on defense if your cornerbacks are worthless if you can't get pressure on the quarterback.
Exactly.
It's not going to help. Magnified in this defense.
It's not going to help.
Exactly.
All based off pressure up front.
You got to win on the line of scrimmage, and I watched the Niners, and that's when they're at their best, when everybody is just crushing the quarterback and they're making plays. So no matter what happens, if they took Thibodeau and then at 10 went back and took Jermaine Johnson, I don't know how the world Jets Nation would react, but I would be laughing. I would just be like, oh shit, we're gonna be badass.
I'm like, there's only so many roster spots. I'm like, what about Jacob Martin and Bradley and I? What about those guys?
Yeah. Well, I mean, those guys could still be they could still be there because they'd be in the rotation, but we have the 30.
Like 10 guys on the line. JFM, Quentin, we still have Sheldon Rankins on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to stop saying it. I still want a 1 technique. Now that we've lost Foley, we need a 4-3 run stuffing defensive tackle somewhere in this draft. We need more beef up front.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can find that though, right? You can find a run stuffer. You can find a big fat guy that's gonna shore up just enough, right? Like, you can find that, but it's tough to find that top end, that elite pass rusher that you need to get around, get bend, and get after guys. You know what I'm saying? So that's tough to find. But sending guys after, listen, we got the 32nd ranked defense in the league. I'm keeping it all the way real with you. Okay. Yeah. Look, and when you watch what we watched last year, where guys literally had 40 years to throw the football against the Jets, you cannot continue that. You can't. And that's one of the reasons why I think a lot of people talk about corner being a need for the Jets. I understand, the thought process there. We went and got DJ Reed. We got Bryce Hall. We got Eccles. Carter's coming back as well, who was one of the better, young slot corners in the league, one of the better slot corners in the league. He's pretty solid in coverage when he was healthy and out there. I'm looking at it like, bro, if we add pass rush to this situation, I think this defense and the secondary is way better than what a lot of people think, because they were still solid. They were decent even without the pass rush. We saw Bryce Hall really show up and pop for us this year. He's a really good corner. But when you got 40 years to throw football, any secondary is going to get exposed.
Right.
So once we add that, and again, like you said as well, Wake, when you watch the Niners, when they're at their best, it's Bosa just absolutely rearing down on the quarterback and him going, oh my goodness, I got to make a decision before this guy destroys me. That's how it's got to work here as well.
And that's what leads to turnovers. I mean, it's been a long time since the Jets had a defense that turned the other team over. And when you do that, that's what helps your offense, because all of a sudden, Zach Wilson doesn't have to go 80, 90 yards to get down the field. That's the idea of complementary football. Mm-hmm. And that's what we need to start seeing. So when Joe Douglas talked about that one of the best things we could do to help Zach Wilson is to have a great defense. This is the idea of what we're talking about.
And a thing I notice about fans is what they're doing, and I think this is a mistake, is, look, I know that Zach needs weapons. We just gave him more protection than Tomlinson. We just gave him 2 legitimate tight ends. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if we don't do it in the draft, we're going to bring back a guy like Keelan Cole. There's going to be other wide receivers available. Maybe it's going to be a trade. Maybe it's going to be salary cap casualties. We're going to bring other wide receivers in. If our best 2 are Corey Davis and Elijah Moore, and we bring in like a Keenan Cole, a Berrios, and another experienced guy, people are going to freak out and be upset. But this is what people have to realize. 12 months ago, right before free agency started, so let's say 12 months and 2 weeks ago, we were stripped down to nothing. We had barely anything. We were stripped to nothing. So this is not going to be a 2-year and we have a Super Bowl team rebuild. No matter what we do, this season, during the season, we're going to be saying we still need this. We're not going to have everything. So what people have to understand, if we still need a wide receiver that's like elite, and Corey Davis and Elijah Moore are 1 and 2, and then you have Berrios and Keenan Cole and other people contributing, that's okay, because we have 2 tight ends now. So we're adding that, and we're going to have better protection for Zach. And Zach's going to take a step up. I understand that we need to score points. That's what they're yelling in the chat. And I get it. But understand, you have to also build a defense too. And then we go into year 3. That's when we finish putting that's when we start putting the sugar in the coffee. You know what I mean? Like, we're building the foundation. Yeah. Now, we're going to get strong somewhere. We're going to get either stronger at wide receiver this year, or stronger at defensive end, or stronger at linebacker. We're going to get much stronger somewhere, but we're not going to get strong everywhere.
Yeah, we just can't have live. Like, our safety play last year was so abominable. I mean, we gave up so many long runs. I mean, do we need to, remind ourselves of Jonathan Taylor while we're wearing that ridiculous white jersey and black pants combination? Embarrassing us on national TV. It wasn't just that we couldn't get to the quarterback. We couldn't stop the run to save our lives. And a lot of that was because 2 things. Our linebackers were slow. We know what happened with the screen passes, one after another. And our safeties had no idea what the heck they were doing. How many more bad angles can I watch Ashton Davis take? So, Jeremy, you talk about, these other things that might need to be addressed later. I think I struck a nerve. Free safety is one of those things we will have to address, but I can acknowledge that having a great pass rush can help camouflage the secondary.
Oh, yeah.
So that is one of the main things, but I can't get over things like, free safety, starting linebacker. I can't get over these things, but
I mean, look,
figure out what'll fix it, and that's the pass rush.
Our cornerbacks in the majority of games last year without a pass rush held out. They were holding up. You're right, Joe, because they weren't wide receivers were not going crazy against us for the most part. We were holding down top-notch guys and keeping them, under a reasonable amount of control. What was killing us was the middle of the field, the openness and space in the middle of the field, because C.J. Mosley was alone, right? He was basically doing a one-man tackling machine. And you could see him getting exhausted by the third quarter because it was like what he was being asked of was impossible.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to look at how our secondary, I thought was decent this year, even without pass rush, you go back and you watch that Bengals game, Chase didn't have that huge game that everybody said he was going to have, right? Going into that, he had lit everybody up before he played us. And everybody was like, oh, he's going to have 300 yards against the Jets and like 5 TDs. He didn't have that. And that was because of Bryce Hall. Eccles was out there. They were there. So I think our secondary is better than a lot of people believe that they are, because they were doing all that without a pass rush. You add a pass rush, and that helps the secondary do that. But I want to go back to something else you guys talked about, because everybody's focused on the wide receiver position, right? And hey, we got to get Zach Weapons and all these things. We got to get and yeah, we can get him another wide receiver, an elite number one. Yeah, if it's out there, absolutely. And again, we've been linked to DK, AJ Brown. There's a lot of talk about him too. We could take one in the draft, but I think a lot of people are also missing the focal point of we're in a run-first offense. I don't know if everybody knows that, but we're in a run-first offense. This Shanahan offense that the Niners run, that's what they do all year, and they run with a myriad of running backs. Bettering this offensive line also makes the Jets a better offense as well, because now we can run the football. Last year, we couldn't run the football at all. We had one game this year. We had a 100-yard rusher. One game. In a run-first offense, I'm going to say this again, we only had a 100-yard rusher one game this year, okay? And it was Michael Carter. One game. The entire year did we have one guy, have over 100 yards. That's insane. You watch the Niners, they have a myriad of running backs. They're near the top of the league every single year in rushing, running the same stuff that we run. That's not how it should work here. We're going to be running the football yet again this year with this better offensive line, and you're going to see how, wow, we really just absolutely would destroy people, because the best thing you could give a young quarterback is a solid running game. And so I think that that's going to help bold our offense as well and help us score points too.
Definitely.
I think that's a very fair point. But you know what? I think that maybe one of the reasons we didn't get a lot of rushing yards is because we didn't have a lot of rushing attempts, because so often we would fall behind early and then we had to almost abandon the run game and go to the passing game. And we were counting on, Zach to win us a game with not a whole lot of receivers, the worst tight end group in the entire league. So maybe if we're not playing from behind right away, that'll give our running backs an opportunity to, establish their presence. And that's another thing I think we need to look at in the middle rounds, is adding that power back that we don't really have on the roster right now, like a Dameon Pierce, Son of a Knight, one of those types of guys. So like third, fourth round, I want to see a new running back to complement Carter. What do you think?
Yeah. And I mean, the running back talk, I don't have an issue with it, but I don't know if we'll go in the earlier rounds for that. I don't think getting a back for us, or a running back or a power back, is that much of an immediate need, because again, we got Tevin Coleman, we got Ty Johnson, we got Carter, we got Walter as well. Those are guys that I think are going to be solid within the system too. But I think the biggest issue with us not being able to run the football last year, we would try early. There were games where we absolutely tried to establish the run game early, but guess what? There was no holes. There was nowhere to go, because you had Greg Van Roten and you had Connor McGovern not being able to open up lanes. I'm going to say it. I know nobody else want to say it. I'm going to say it. All right. Greg Van Roten's trash. He's trash. And we saw him get bowled over. By the way, did you remember? Greg Van Roten has been bad for a long time. All right. He's been bad for a long time, dog. I'm going to just let it go. He's been bad for a long time. Okay.
That's why I don't listen to PFF anymore, because PFF,
oh my God,
had Van Roten rated higher than AVT.
Yep.
And I said, what game are they watching? Are they watching a different game? Like,
they were watching preseason in week 1. That's the only thing they could have been watching.
It's complete trash. Because Van Roten was literally thrown around, in Green Bean's words, like a rag doll.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. He was
like a sack of potatoes. I watched him get thrown, passed, bowled over, ran through, all that stuff. So guess what? That's why we couldn't run the football effectively. You don't get any push. There was nowhere we could go. So
I think we lost our left tackle.
Yeah. and so I think with the bettering our offensive line, bringing in Lakeland, ATV now is going to be moved to right guard, which was kind of surprising to me, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be all right there. So ATV now on the right. You got Becton coming back, who I think is going to be our starting left tackle. I know people love George Fant. He's phenomenal. He's not even in the category of Mekhi Becton if Mekhi Becton is fully healthy and ready to go. Mekhi Becton ends up being our left tackle, and Fant is going to be solid on the right tackle. I think this is an approved offensive line. Now, again, we talk about wide receiver. We talked about, pass rush. I can see the New York Jets going O-line again if Linderbaum is there. I love this kid. All right. Generational center. I love this kid. If you want to make sure that Zach never gets touched again, you draft him. I don't know what else you can necessarily do here to have a better offensive line. Okay.
What would you? So as far as Linderbaum goes, do you think would you trade down? Would you trade back? I mean, he's probably not going to make it to 35, and a lot of people are going to say 10 is too soon. All right, you got a strategy in mind. Let's hear it.
Okay, so here's the deal. I know that there's a lot of talk about trading down from 4, which has become more interesting when you have these quarterback hungry teams, right? You got Atlanta, big hole at quarterback. Carolina, big hole at quarterback. We become attractive because you can now jump a team that is hungry for a quarterback. So I think there's a lot of trade partners that we could possibly fall and be interested in. Now, again, depending on how the board plays out, if Kayvon Thibodeau is there, for me personally, I think they would take him. But there's a chance that Kayvon may not be there, right? Or if you value taking more pass rushers or having more capital to truly address, maybe you say, I'll pass up on Kayvon and take Jermaine Johnson at 10 and so on and so forth, whoever else, guys that I want to in the draft at certain positions. So I could see us trading down from 4, moving down the board to maybe, 8 if Atlanta wants to jump up, or, there's other teams as well that we can move down with as well and possibly take Linderbaum there. I could see that happening. So we could move down, let's say trade with Atlanta, we gain some capital, move down to 8. I could see us taking Linderbaum there. Because I don't think Linderbaum, personally, I don't think he's going to slide out of the first round. Somebody's going to take him somewhere in the first. But that's an option I think the New York Jets will have.
Look, if the Jets, and I've said this a lot of times on the show, if the scenario happened, like let's say the freakish scenario that pops up on the mock draft where the Eagles give us 2 of their picks for our 4, right? Let's say that was to happen. Some scenario where we end up in a position where we take Linderbaum. That's our luxury pick with the extra first-round pick. No matter how it happened, no matter how mad people want to be, no matter how disappointed I might be that we didn't get some other position, there's no way I'm not sitting there shaking in excitement when I think of what that offensive line would look like. I mean, how could you? Look at this middle of the interior of that line. AVT, Tomlinson, and Linderbaum. Can you imagine us? We'd be like the Indianapolis Colts running the ball.
Yeah. And that's what blows my mind is that when you talk about Linderbaum and I've had multiple discussions with different Jets fans, when we talk about this guy and how great of a center he's one of the highest rated centers for, I don't know how long, this is like a decade or something like that. Everybody, any scout that you talk to, listen to, everybody I've talked to, everybody I watched the game, they said this guy's generational. He is a different type of guy. Okay. You put him on your line, he's going to be there for the next 10, 15 years or whatever, and you won't have to worry about center ever again. Here's my problem is that when I have discussion with Jets fans, they act like, well, taking a center, that high would be too high. Listen, the Colts took Quentin Nelson at 6. They took this guy at 6. Nobody is saying that Quentin Nelson was a bad pick. Nobody's saying that. You want to know why? Because they're just running left all day. When we played the Colts, they had 200 plus yards by the third quarter against us. They ran all day at will, doing whatever they wanted to. And it wasn't just Jonathan Taylor. It was also the backup. I think Hines was the backup. He was running for a ton of yards too. We couldn't stop anything. Why? Because they have the guy up there that opened holes. He was throwing people around and there was nothing we could do about it. We need to do the exact same and invest in that way if the opportunity presents itself. Taking a center at 8 or wherever we decide to take him is not too high if you want to shore up and ensure that your offense is going to function in this league.
I'm pretty confident of one thing on draft night. Half of Jets Twitter will be thrilled. Jets social media will be thrilled. The other half will want to riot and want everybody fired. It is going to be the most polarizing bipolar group anywhere on the internet. It is going to be fascinating.
Oh man. We should start there, man. We could talk about the draft for hours, can't we? Because there's so many. You know what the great thing is and that's what a lot of people say, oh, you're copping out, Jeremy, because you're not sticking to one thing that you really want. And it's not that I'm copping out. It's just that what I'm saying is I won't be angry because there's really so many ways because of the amount of draft capital that Joe Douglas accumulated
Yep.
that we get better.
Yep.
And as Nick Shine in the chat says, and he once said, and he said it very brilliantly, he said, we just have to hit on the picks. Meaning at the end of the day, the picks have to hit. And if we hit on 4 out of the 5 of those top 5 picks up to 69, and get 4 quality players, maybe a star, but impact players, guys who contribute to the team, that's what matters. And there's a million different combinations of positions and ways that it can happen. We just have to hit on the picks. And I love that. And we just proved it because we're talking about 1 second we're talking about Tibbs and Jermaine Johnson. The next second we're talking about trading down the 4 and taking Lindenbaum, right? So there's so many ways that it can happen. No matter, but the thing that's so exciting is we're going to get better. But I want to open it up to the chat. Just if they had a bunch of questions, guys, if you want to resubmit them, you were putting them in too early. If you have questions for Joe, definitely just throw them in and we'll ask them. But we're not asking him questions like, will you be my best man at my wedding, J. Cole? We're not asking if you'll dance with your mom. Like we're asking him questions about the Jets.
And we're not commenting on if you're a great man, although I think your father is the one who needs to make the call on that one.
So if there's any questions, get them in there. Brayton had a question before I had it up. So I'll ask you this, Joe. What are your thoughts on Minzy?
Denzel Mims. Listen, I like Denzel Mims. But I don't think it's about whether I like him or not because the coaching staff don't. Right? We've seen this guy. Okay, look, Denzel Mims, the first year he was here we saw the athletic ability. We saw him come up with catches where we were like, he should not be catching those things, and he was making the catches. But I don't know what happened this season. I have no clue. But it doesn't matter what happened, who went down, who was injured, who didn't play, what time the game was, where it was, why it was happening. He was not on the field. I don't know what's happened, but I just don't think that he is in the offensive plans for this football team. I just don't. There was a lot of talk about him not knowing the playbook. He was here the entire year. You had a guy like Tariq Black come off the street, come into the game, and we were decimated at wide receiver when Tariq Black was playing. He had more targets and catches than Mims in a game. And Mims had been here the whole year. So the entire season, he still don't pick up the playbook. As much as I want to believe in Denzel Mims and I want to see him be here, something is telling me, bro, he ain't going to be here much longer, especially if somebody comes in this offseason and bumps him out of his spot because he's not playing. He's not doing anything. Even when we were down multiple wide receivers, he still wasn't on the field. That tells you something. That just does. I don't think he's going to be around much longer, to be completely honest. I just don't. I don't know if we'll trade him. I mean, hell, Joe Douglas traded Blake Cashman and got capital back for him. Blake, I'm always on IR. Cashman.
Oh, we broke that down.
Yeah, and got
we have broken that down in detail. Let me tell you that.
There has got to be something that he can be able to get for Denzel Mims. But I just don't see Denzel Mims being on the field.
Do you think, Joe? Do you think
crazy.
He could succeed if he leaves the Jets and finds a new home outside of the Jets?
I think he could. He's not. He has the athletic ability. Whatever it is, if it's that he doesn't know the playbook or that, because again, there was a lot of talk. We all, I'm pretty sure everybody here knows. There was a lot of talk about him not knowing the playbook, him not understanding routes, and whatever. I don't know if it's the offensive system. Maybe he just doesn't fit it, or whatever it is. But I do think that he can go somewhere else and be successful because he's a young player. He still has a lot ahead of him. And we saw flashes in an Adam Gase offense. So that says that you have something. There's something there, So I think he can go somewhere else and possibly be successful. But for whatever reason, it's not working here, dog. It's just not.
Well, Green Bean is pretty adamant about it. And I'm kind of in the middle of this. Green Bean is adamant that, the guy had a bad year. in his life, right? I mean, shit happened. He had bad salmon. He got sick in the beginning, like just bad stuff happened to him. Here's my take. We all agree he's talented, and I kind of Green Bean has more confidence in than I do. But when I am is I'm in the middle of this. I'm hopeful. I'm thinking it doesn't. Obviously, they're not going to move him for nothing when he doesn't cost us anything. Obviously, there's no reason people think cut him. That's ridiculous. Why would you cut him? He doesn't cost us anything. We're going to bring him into camp, right? And we're going to see if what happened. What did he do this offseason? I know he's in Florida with Zach Wilson. I know he showed up with the other guys and he's working hard. To me, it's more of I've already accepted emotionally that this guy a year ago I was thinking was going to be possibly a future WR1, certainly a WR2. I've accepted that we've had to move on with our plans. We have to act as if he's done, like he's not going to be a real contributor on the team. But I'm hopeful. A part of me is still hoping that he's going to come into camp and kick butt and be awesome and know the playbook now and, and be ready to go and start being the Mims we thought he could be and what he looked like in college, what he looked like in some of those games in his rookie year, and just is a surprise, like just a pleasant surprise. He's only 23, right? He's been good his whole life in everything he's ever done, every level except for last year. So we're hoping it's a bad chapter. So I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not confident that's going to happen. Yeah. I'm hopeful that's going to happen. So I wouldn't want to trade him for nothing, and I wouldn't want to cut him. I'm hoping that we can give him as much of a chance as possible this year at camp to just show, hey, I've rebounded.
And I hear what you're saying there, Jeremy. I get it. But and I'm hopeful as well. I want Mims to succeed. I think we all do. He's a second-round pick. But I'm dealing with reality here. Yeah. I'm dealing with reality. You guys, I understand you're talking about camp. Dude, we were literally decimated at wide receiver this year. There down the last end of the stretch, Corey Davis was gone. There were quite a bit of time where Elijah Moore was gone, right? There was a time where literally only Braxton Berrios was the guy out there. We were decimated. There was no other names. And we were like, Mims, you going to do something? And he never came off the bench.
Yeah, I think even Crowder was hurt. I mean, we were playing DJ Montgomery.
Exactly. They were playing I just talked about it. Like you said as well, Wake. They were playing DJ Montgomery. They were playing Tariq Black, and you still couldn't get on the field. So you're telling me a guy off the street knows the playbooks and the route combos better than you do? Because that was the whole deal, right? Mike LaFleur came out and literally said, if you don't know the route combos, if you don't know the offense, they're not going to put you on the field. Sulla said it too in a press conference as well. That's what opened the door to, he don't understand the playbook, because that's what Sulla said ever so softly. So we're at the end of the year and dude still ain't on the field. That tells you something. I understand people think he's a stud. I think he's athletic. He's got the ability, but he's not playing. He's not playing. I'm sorry. He's not on the field.
When Tariq
he got from here up, that's what
when Tariq Black was on that field, I mean, that's when it hit me. That's when I really realized. That aside, because that's when I went into mode of, that was when I accepted when he was on, when I saw Tariq Black on the field and Mims not on the field. That was when I accepted that I'm in a place where I've emotionally accepted that Mims is gone. Like all the hopes I had, thinking that spot was filled after his rookie season, that he's going to take it the next step. All of that emotionally was gone. That's why, and I want to reiterate, I'm hopeful, but in my heart and in my feeling is that we don't have him. He's a WR6. He's the guy that's going to get cut probably. That has to work for a roster spot. But there's a glimmer. There's a little part of me, that won't let go. It's like you break up. There's that little part of me that used to have so much hope for him, that still has this dream that he's going to come into camp and just be a different person and be the person that we thought he could be and just light it up. And that's what it is. But it's not something I'd ever bank on. It's not something I'd ever say, we don't need to get 2 wide receivers because we got Mims. No. We have to go in thinking Mims is a WR6 fighting for a roster spot.
You know who I felt that same way about a couple years ago? Stephen Hill. I was holding on to a glimmer of hope for Stephen Hill, by the way, who has caught, I believe, 4 more touchdowns in his career than Denzel Mims.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. He's got 4 more touchdowns. Denzel Mims is still yet to catch his first career touchdown pass in the NFL.
I mean, he dropped it. It was right.
I don't know if that scarred Mims more or you more, judging by that reaction.
Well, do you know? Well, I mean, do you know what the funniest thing was? Green Bean and me were live on Jets Nation when that happened, and we're so pro Mims. We love him so much that I'll never forget it. At the time, Green Bean looks at me and goes, "But he got open." He got open.
He has separation ability.
At least he got open.
Oh, my
Doesn't that
goodness.
count for something that he got open in the end zone?
But let's not despair. You know, let us not forget we are dealing with the master of traders. If he got a 6 for Blake Cashman,
Yeah.
Why shouldn't I think he could get a 3rd or a 4th round pick for Denzel Mims?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't I think that it might be possible?
Joe Douglas has pulled off more incredible moves in the last 2 years.
Yep.
Since trading Jamal, since that move and upward, he has pulled off more than any other GM in the history of since 40 years of Jet fan. We have never had a GM in my memory that has pulled off the moves he's pulled off.
No.
I mean, we could sit here and repeat, go on and on about it, right? I mean, let me just get us a starting right tackle for free for a player we'll get back in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let me trade the 31st rated quarterback in the league for a 2nd round pick. And then that team trades the better quarterback to Denver and only gets a 6th round pick. I mean, it's just ridiculous. He's the best GM in trading. And then last year's draft to me, and somebody was bringing up that there was an Instagram post that they rated last year's draft a C+. And what I thought about that, what I think about that is it must have been PFF behind it because it's just trash. It's like anybody, how could you call a draft like last year's draft a C+? What are they smoking? We got ourselves a future Pro Bowl guard. We got a great running back. We got a great wide receiver. We got a slot corner that was top 10. That's probably going to be top 3 in the league within this year or next year. I don't understand what more you'd want in the draft.
Depth in the secondary. We had a linebacker who looked like he was possibly developing into a decent player, Jameson Sherwood, until he tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
So even some of the depth, we didn't even address defense until the back end of the draft.
Exactly.
So, I mean, my goodness, I think that draft was as good of a Jets draft as I've seen in 15 years.
And we got Eccles as well late in that draft too, and he showed flashes. We had him as our number 2 corner at certain spots. We saw him get big interceptions against Miami. We saw him playing spots. Listen, I think I'm gonna be completely honest. When you are a Jets fan and you read things or see things that come out from mainstream media or even some of our own beat, you have to understand that people just like to dump on the Jets. That's just how it goes. I remember people literally screaming to the hills about Joe Douglas trading up for ATV. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember people going off about like a 4th round? I think he gave like a 4th round pick or something like that for what I thought just watching was the best guard in that draft at the time, right? So people were literally screaming, "Oh, the Jets are idiots. That was such a stupid move." And then you see him come in here, and this dude is phenomenal. One of the best young guards in the league, and nobody's saying nothing now. So that's what I kind of take everything with a grain of salt when I read what people say about the New York Jets or the media has some take or something we've done, because I've seen it for years, and we've all seen it, that when it comes to the Jets, people are just going to dump on us because it's the fun thing to do. They're going to downplay any decision that we make, any good decision we make. They'll find some way to make it sound stupid. I remember people going off when we traded Jamal Adams, and I told people we needed to get rid of him for I didn't know how long. And we finally did. People were just dumping on the Jets. And now things have changed around because now we're seeing, like I told people, he was an overrated box safety that can't cover a bed with a bed sheet. And that's exactly what we're seeing. He went to Seattle. He's moaning and crying. They gave him that big contract. It's one of the biggest mistakes that they've made. Now we seeing Seattle suffer from that. And now look where we're sitting. 2 first-round picks. We got other capital as well, and we're sitting pretty as we dumped our trash off to them. You know what I'm saying? That's smart GMing. That's intelligent GMing. So I don't mind what everybody else says about the Jets. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys do as well, and other fans, we sit around and we rate the moves because we know what's going on over here.
Right. I mean, there are still people who think, why did we get? I actually had someone on Twitter arguing, why is everyone saying we got a good deal for Jamal Adams? And I'm like, I can't even go into that. If you don't know that,
bro.
you know,
really?
I mean, you know, it's just like so insane.
We don't even know the full fruits of that trade yet, and we're already dominating it.
I know.
I wanted to answer the question.
So Boogie Down Bronx, who's new to the chat, at least, I think. I don't recognize your name. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the chat. If you haven't subbed to the channel, please sub and welcome to our little community here. Has a question for you, Adam. Wa2K99. Have you checked out Calvin Austin? Boogie Down is excited and thinks he could be another Tyreek Hill. What do you think?
Well, Tyreek Hill is a generational talent. You know, he's one of those. He's one of the millions and millions of generational talents out there. So Calvin Austin can only be a guy like that. Here's what I'm going to say about Calvin Austin. He's an absolute speed demon. Gotta love that about him. Not a big guy, but size does not always equal productivity. I think in his rookie year, I don't think you'll see him as a starting wide receiver. I see him more of a returner and like a gadget player, like a Donovan Peoples-Jones, that kind of guy. Because I don't think he's strong enough yet, like a Tyreek Hill. I think he get knocked off his route pretty easily, and I think that's one of the reasons why he's not ranked higher. I see him as maybe a 4th-round pick, maybe 3rd if a team wants to get a little bit greedy. But I want to see him get a little bit stronger before I can say this guy is a legitimate starting wide receiver prospect in the NFL. So raw ability, great speed. So those are the positives.
And I love the way V-Man said that.
The guitar man.
Welcome to the chat, V-Man. V-Man with his guitar. I love this kid. Great kid. Any opinions? Do you know if you know the player? I don't know how deep you go following the draft, Joe.
No, I don't know Calvin Austin.
Yeah, I've never watched any tape on him. The deepest I went is Rusty Spooners by Kyle Phillips.
Oh yeah, definitely people talk about him a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you can't get away from it, right? He's like Rusty's like, you gotta see him. You gotta watch him. All right, I'll watch his tape. All right.
Yeah.
He actually, to me, that was our backup plan if you don't re-sign Berrios.
Absolutely.
Because he reminded me of a Kyle Phillips, you know, and
we were gawking over him, watching the tape of him. I mean, we just couldn't get enough of Kyle Phillips. I even DM'd him on Twitter saying, we want you here. So, he hasn't responded yet, so that's kind of soured me on him a little bit, to be honest with you. Oh, well.
Thank you, Boogie Down Production. I appreciate the words. About time you spoke up. Let us know you were here. I like it.
Glad to have you, Boogie.
Hey, I think Joe doesn't have that much time left. He has like 8 minutes to go. I'm starting a new tradition, Joe. Whenever I have a special guest I love that I'm getting to know, I'm known to give a lot of stuff away, right? Like, and I have these open packs of 1989 football cards. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to open up this pack of cards. We're going to look through them, see if there's any good cards you want, and I'm going to send them to you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
And it's a great year. There were a lot of great players this year. So let's hope there's some Jets. And we'll open it up right now.
What is this from a certain year? These cards? I'm sorry.
89.
Okay.
So we got Bubba Paris from the Niners, offensive lineman. Everson Walls from the Cowboys. I remember him.
That's a good one.
Everson Walls. Okay. I mean, you could have any of these that you want. Andy Heck, tight end from the Seahawks. Come on, give us a good one. Don Warren, tight end from the Steelers. Kevin Brooks, defensive tackle for the Cowboys. No stud yet. Webster Slaughter, wide receiver from the Browns. I remember him.
Mm-hmm.
James Jefferson was a cornerback for the Seahawks. Leonard Smith, safety from the Bills. Let's rip that card up. Neil Lomax, the quarterback from the Cardinals. Mark Duper from the Dolphins. I'll save this for Grandizer. I have a Dolphins fan who comes onto the channel a lot. He's a good guy, so I'll save that for him. James Brooks from the Bengals. Jeff Bryant from the Seahawks. Hobie Refner. Oh, Chris Collinsworth.
Really?
Okay.
A Chris Collinsworth. Do you want that?
All right, yeah, I'll take
And
that.
there's also
I wonder if he styled his hair that day before he put the helmet on.
we also got a collectible Joe Theismann.
Oh,
But I got another one though put away for you just in case we got a dud back. So let me just go over and grab it here. I think you'll like this one.
Yeah, John. Before he does, I'm going to ask you one quick question because we got a few people who are asking it. Just quickly, a couple names you would not want to see drafted in round 1 by the Jets.
Oh,
just
a
quickly.
couple names I wouldn't want to see in round 1.
Besides Derek Stingley?
Yeah, Derek Stingley is one of them. I'm going to say this. I think Kyle Hamilton is phenomenal. I think he's a great player. But I do not want to see us take a safety at 4. I don't want to see us take a safety that high. Please don't do that. I think that there's so much need elsewhere. I don't want to see us take him. And it's not because he's a bad player, but it's because it's a position of non-impact, and we need to attack positions of impact, mainly, pass rusher, wide receiver, so on and so forth. The other is probably Stingley scares me a lot. I'm very concerned about him and the injury history because we've been there before with a corner. D. Milner. I love D. Milner, but he just could never stay healthy. And so I'm very worried about Stingley and that foot. And I want the Jets to stay away from that.
Okay, Jets fan number 4, you got it. Let me. I'll get you a Giants card if I ever stumble across one. So here's the card I got for you, Joe. I appreciate you being here today, and I want to give you this. I think you'll appreciate this one. It is a Michael Irvin rookie card.
Whoa!
Oh wow! Thank you. Thank you so much.
They're not worth tons and tons of money like I thought they would be, some of these cards, but I think it's a cool collector's card. I got it in plastic for you. So just tweet me your mailing address and I'll send it to you with the Chris Collinsworth and the Joe Theismann.
Thank you so much. I really like Michael Irvin. For those of you that don't know, I really like Michael Irvin a lot. I'm not, a Cowboys fan, but I do have a lot of friends that are Cowboys fans, and he was one of my favorite Cowboys to watch. Thank you so much, Jeremy. I really appreciate that. Seriously.
No, my pleasure. That's what we do here. We give stuff away and have all kinds of fun. I'm not ashamed to buy my subscribers.
Hey, listen, you do what you gotta do. All right. Look, hit that button, you can get a couple dollars too.
I live in Newport News. We actually have Michael Irvin Drive down here in downtown Newport News in the bad section part of town, of course. Probably in the area where Allen Iverson grew up. That's probably where Michael Irvin Drive is.
Yeah. So Nick Shine, by the way, Nick Shine is proud New York Jets fan. He basically runs the site on Facebook. So he wants you to know if you ever want to collab with him. And Nick Shine Nick Shine is in here a lot. So we'll commit. If you could be on that. And I like to combine people. So one day I'll have you and Nick Shine on, whatever. We'll all get together. Try a whole different bunch of formulas. I know J. Cole is going to be screaming now that he wants to come on with you. And I'm going to do a giveaway, Matthew. Matthew's still waiting for his card. He got a Deion Sanders rookie card coming. I just dropped that in the mailbox this morning. So he won that. So we'll do a giveaway a little later, but Joe doesn't have to win. I wanted to make sure he walks away with something because I had a great time with you. I think this is the beginning of a wonderful collab that will last many, many years. So absolutely.
And again, I want to thank you guys for having me on. Like I said, I truly appreciate this. I really, really do. I want to thank you for inviting me and just sitting down and talking Jets, man. This is what I really love to do. I love connecting with the fan base. I love, just being able to sit down and talk to people about football, period. Because I talk to a lot of people that ain't even, Jets fans, and they want to talk about the Jets. I love this team. And I'm excited about the direction. And again, salutes to everybody in the chat. NY Jets, Jets fan 4, salutes to you. Thank you, man. Nothing but respect to you as well. And I, want to thank everybody for, just listening and going back and forth in the chat as well.
Awesome, man. I knew when I heard we're gonna have you on for 90 minutes. I'm like, it's gonna feel like 9 minutes. It's gonna fly by. And sure enough, it did.
Yeah.
So you are absolutely 100%. We're connected on Twitter and the DM now. So anytime you want to be on, I'm on. We do drafts and fun stuff on Fridays. So we're live. I'm live on Friday almost all the time at night. In the evening, I'm live. I do a show with my friend Dom on Sunday. But anytime you want airtime, you want to touch base with this community and everything, and hang out and talk chess with me. Don't wait for me to just invite you. Like, feel free, feel comfortable. Just DM me. Say, hey man, I'd love to hang out again, and we'll have you back on this show again. But you're welcome to come on Fridays, Sundays, whenever I'm live. Anytime you want to get together, just send me a message and say, hey, I'd love to come on with you, and we'll set it up and arrange it.
Yeah, anytime, man. Anytime, anytime goes both ways. Anytime you guys want me on or you want to talk about, anytime I'll come on. I really connect with everybody,
All right, we'll
I have to call into your show again.
Yeah, please do. We'll be live Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 515-6029-639. You know what I'm saying? Call on in and we'll be talking Jets. You know what I'm saying? Oh, for everybody, before we go, listen, for those of you that, again, we've been here talking a lot, Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube, come on by, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and enjoy the content. We have a lot of fun over there. As Wake knows, we do our live radio shows and we talk about the Jets and we love stuff. I also game on that channel as well. You might catch me playing some Street Fighter. I'll be yelling and screaming. All right. Because there's a lot of crazy people that like to play Street Fighter too. So, we play Street Fighter. We talk. We also do live game watches as well during the season when my schedule allows. Sit down. We watch the game together and we have a live radio show after the game. So, please come on by, join my Twitter, as well. If you go to any of my description, you guys have it in the description of this, or I'll give it to you guys. It's YoungJ000 on Twitter. Come on by, subscribe to or follow me on there. And as well, my show's page is at The Long Beach Joe. So you go there and on Twitter as well, follow right back. You can also find me on Facebook too, is The Long Beach Joe Show on Facebook. Like that page, and all my content will be there as well. I really, enjoy connecting with people and having a lot of fun in a lot of different ways. So come on by and, let's go back and forth.
Absolutely. I'll definitely add you. I'll add your Facebook link the YouTube link to my about page. I have a bunch of links like Green Bean. I'll add you to that list too. So it'll be easier in the future to point people towards it. Man, thanks so much. This was awesome. This was a treat for me, Joe. I'm a fan of yours. So having you on here, like 4 months ago, I didn't have a channel. And now all of a sudden I'm getting to have you on the channel. And
welcome, man.
Excellent. I respect the hell out of what you do. So big pleasure for me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And like I said, I enjoy y'all platform, man. I watch your stuff too. Again, I want to thank y'all. Y'all keep grinding, keep doing your thing. You guys are two really smart Jets fans. I love going back and forth with y'all talking football, man. That's what it's all about.
It's amazing.
Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Yeah.
All right. Take care. Have a good night, man.
Now you have a good one.
All right. We'll see you.
All right. That was Long Beach Joe. So, man, what a great guest, huh, Adam?
Yeah, that was fantastic. I first spoke with him. For those who came in a little bit late, I did a little crazy intro for him. My friend Ken, who's in the Virginia Jets fans group, he's been around there a long time. Great guy. He was the one who initially hooked me up with Joe. And that was last summer. That was in July. And it led to about a 15-minute conversation. It wasn't, I went on too long, maybe 10, 15 minutes at the most. I remember we spent a little bit of time disagreeing over Marcus May and what his future with the Jets was going to be. Because I wasn't too sold on keeping him, but Joe was pretty, wanted him. I think it was before the DUI came out and all the craziness, and obviously before he got hurt. But certainly he was one of the first guys who I really got into in terms of his YouTube content, where you knew he knew what he was talking about. Yeah. And he was always so engaging. That was one of my favorite things, is that he always wanted to engage the audience and he welcomed everybody's opinion. So, and tonight, those of you who never got to hear him before, you could see the man knows his Jets and the man loves his Jets.
Yeah. I noticed that right away. Is like, wow, it's like the way he just opens up to the community, and there's some people out there that just put themselves at higher, right? And they really don't hear the voice of anyone else. They just hear their own voice. And that's not my thing. That's not what I modeled this show to be. You know what I mean? I modeled it after what I learned and watched Green Bean do. And when I saw Joe's channel, I said, "Wow, it's great that he does that too."
Yeah, so we have to keep our heads still. So you're right in the middle of the Viking horns, and I look like I got the party hat on my head. So the chat wants me to stay still. So I'm going to try to stay as still as I can for the remainder of the show. It's my party.
All right, wait, we have over 30 people in the chat, and someone was saying giveaway time, so let's do a giveaway. Let's give away.
It was crazy. It was like 35, 36, then it would drop to 28, then back up to 34. It was nuts out there for a while.
Let's reward the people who stayed with 3 packs of cards.
Let's do it.
Let's do a 3-packer.
I got a quick story for you while you're doing that, and it's card related. So when I was in Charleston this weekend, they have a fantastic city market down there. In fact, one of my favorite things, I didn't get this, but they had a cutting board, a wooden cutting board, and it had like different inscriptions in it. And somebody had made this cutting board and engraved in it was like the 80s silhouette of Lionel Richie with the afro, the mustache, and all of that. And on the cutting board, it said, "Hello, is it me you're cooking for?" I thought that was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. That was like so creative. But then I went to a little card display and I looked at the Jets cards just to see if there was anything that was good. There were about 13 Jets cards and 5 of them were Denzel Mims. People can't give Denzel Mims cards away anymore.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to make a deal with Leslie Hoshida. Leslie Hoshida, you can probably let all your students have a phone in class and say, "You're allowed to have your phones right now. Everybody get their phones. Have everybody take it out and guide them to NFL Chaos with Jeremy and have them subscribe to the channel." If I suddenly on Friday bump up like 15, 20 subscribers, we'll talk about any football cards you want, my friend. Okay, so if you want football cards, I want 15 to 20 subscribers. Get all the kids. All right, now that that's taken care of, let's give away some cards. We got 3 packs to give away, and then we got Adam has an amazing segment coming. You guys remember that amazing segment we had in the past with Blake Glassman or Blake Cashman? We have another segment like that. It's going to be a really fun segment. I'm excited about it. That's how we're going to finish off the show. But before that, we're going to give away 3 beautiful packs of unopened 1989 cards. You have no idea what's in them. And here's how we're going to do it, okay? And this is going to be really quick, guys. Get ready. Get on your keyboards. Oh, good. I'm about to get a whole bunch of subscribers tomorrow or on Friday. Get on your keyboards, everyone, and get ready. I'm gonna ask you a question, a trivia question. And the first one to answer it wins. And it's going to be really fast because some of you were paying attention. It's going to be based on what happened tonight. So if you were watching the show tonight, you're going to know the answer. Okay, so here's the question. We're going to look for the first person to get it right.
Matthew, the answer is not 24. I'm willing to bet.
We got to wait for Snacks to put in his fake guess of Lee Cravat. No, what we're going to do is, this is the question. The first one to answer it in the chat wins the 3 packs of cards. The question is, and the answer was given tonight, Long Beach Joe has a favorite jet of all time. Who is his favorite jet?
All right. Let's watch. All right, I'm watching the chat. I'm waiting for some answers.
Long Beach Joe had a favorite jet.
Incorrect. I'm seeing 3 incorrect answers already.
Yep, they weren't paying attention. Before we talked about Curtis, he talked about somebody else.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to give a clue on this one.
Okay. Hader Ali is in the house while we're waiting.
Wow. Guys, I know we all got lives, but man, we need you at 10 o'clock. Nobody yet. There it is. J. Cole.
Who got it? Who got it?
J. Cole's dedicated. He got it.
Oh, wow. He got it?
The real GOAT, Chad Pennington.
Yeah, he got it. Okay, Chad got it. I wanted to say hello to Hader Ali really fast. He kind of came in the middle. You threw your thing out in the middle of a contest, but it's good to see you, man. I'm glad that you've been listening. That's cool that you knew who Long Beach Joe was, man. Like I knew people would, obviously. He's been around a lot longer than me. But I'm glad he also got some new subscribers tonight. I'm glad it was like that he got rewarded with that. Like that's always nice when you go on someone's channel and you get some new people too. So that was cool. Hater, I hope all is good, man. Hope everything's well. It's always good when to see you. I know that you're out there when I make those videos, my friend. So hopefully you're well. If you have any questions, let me know. And Hater, get in here when I do the giveaways, man. I want to send something to you. So Jets fan 4, I know that you have somebody in your life that's you said a big Giants fan. I got you, man. I got you. I'll let you know. Let's see. Okay, so Eminem was late. Sorry, guys. I have to change it up how you win. You never know how it's going to be that you won. But today it went to somebody who today it was set up well for whoever was just here the whole time, right? So they had a better chance of getting it. But next time it might be a random number. Next time it might be a random trivia question. Don't worry about it.
And by the way, with the background here, it looks like I'm Jeremy and you're Adam.
So J. Cole, remember that you gotta send me your mailing address. You have my email already, so just email me your mailing address, and I'll get these 3 packs out to you. Now Matthew Smith can't make fun of you that he's the only one that won something and you haven't. They're like rivals, him and Matthew Smith. One day they're gonna like bump into each other in a restaurant in Long Island. So. That's okay. I won last night on Jets 24/7. Oh, Eminem, you won? You won the shirt?
Nick, shot. No. Ketchup does not belong on hot dogs. I'm sorry.
Oh, somebody's saying that? Oh, no.
If you got a mustard guy, fine. Eat them plain. Put some relish on them. Do that. Ketchup, no. Once you're like 13 years old, ketchup is off limits for a hot dog, and that is actually published by the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council. Yes, it actually exists. Ketchup, just the sweetness, it just overwhelms the sausage. You can't even taste the hot dog anymore when you put ketchup on it. Doesn't work. Not that I'm opinionated on stuff, but once in a while.
Oh, thanks for Hater Ali's asking about my wife. Thanks. She's great, man. She was actually on the show a little bit earlier. Nepotism. I think almost all my normal people have won already, right? It's like hard to see anybody who hasn't won. Eminem may not have won.
All your normal people.
But Matthew Smith is my normal people have won. Matthew Smith has won something. I know that Dark Soldiers won something already. He was one of the first people to win something. My big nightmare is when Braden wins something, and I'm gonna have to.
Oh, no kidding.
I'm like, I don't even know how to mail something to New Zealand.
You have to purchase like New Zealandish postage or something like that. I mean,
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
How many address lines would that take?
No worries, mate. You'll figure it out. Okay, so we got postal service here, mate. Okay, so
we just get a pigeon and they fly over. Oh God, no, I'm doing it.
Anyway, let's move over to your segment, Adam. I don't have any special fancy intro to your segment, except now is Adam's segment. Go ahead.
That totally does not live up to Frankie on Thursday nights. Frankie's Facts, man. Come on. I need graphics and shit, man.
I'll work on it.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's fine. So after we did the saga of Blake Cashman, I was asked to do it again on Green Bean Show, and I did, and I even put it into article form, and I sent it to the Green Bean Jets fans website. So the Jets had another veteran that they parted ways with. Well, a young veteran, but somebody who will be on our minds that we have spent a lot of time thinking about over the last little while. And now that he has been released, I thought it only appropriate to give him a little tribute and recap his entire Jets career. We are talking about a kicker named Matt Amendola. Yes, we are going to talk about Matt Amendola. The Jets have kept Eddie Pinheiro, and they have signed Greg Zuerlein, a solid veteran. And there was no room for Mr. Amendola on the roster anymore, so he is now gone. So let's go back and recap his career, shall we? So he was undrafted out of Oklahoma State, where he was a walk-on. In his senior year of college, he made 36 of 48 field goals. So basically 75%, not a very inspiring percentage, I think, going into the pros. He never punted, by the way, in college, in case anybody's wondering. We'll get there. So Carolina signed him on March 24th. So the Jets were not his first team. He was originally a Carolina Panther, And then he was released less than 2 months later on May 16th. And then on July 31st of last year, which happened to be my 40th birthday, I got the great birthday present, not of being in Alaska, which I was, but the highlight of my birthday was really the signing of Matt Amendola as our future kicker. So he beat out Chris Nagar as the starter for the first game. So in Carolina, as we all know, he had a very special role. Now, he did not attempt a field goal or extra point that game, but Braden Mann got hurt early on, and Matt Amendola stepped in. He had 6 punts for 291 yards, averaging 48.5 yards per punt. Now, here's what I think is interesting about that. If he had averaged that for a whole season, 48.5 yards, he would have ranked 4th in the league behind A.J. Cole of Las Vegas, Jack Fox of Detroit, and Andy Lee of Arizona. So for one game, he really was fantastic. So that was week 1. Then we go to week 2. Now, I'm going to mention a few, see if you notice a pattern here. This is what we're going to be looking at here. Against New England, he attempted no extra points. He made 2 of 3 field goals. He made a 21 and a 35, and he missed a 53. Week 3 against Denver, no kick attempts whatsoever. Week 4, had a pretty good game. 3 of 3 on extra points, 2 of 2 on field goals. He made the amazing field goals of 27 and 22 yards. So, had a great day that time. Then he took his talents to London, England. Against Atlanta, he was 0 for 1 on extra points, but he made 2 field goals. He made a 31 and a 49. On to week 7, New England. He made his 1 extra point attempt, but he missed a 48-yard field goal. So after having 2 pretty good weeks, missed a field goal and not too good. Against Cincinnati, maybe our best win of the season, he made 2 of 2 extra points. Now, he was 2 of 3 on field goals. He made a 24-yarder and another 24-yarder, but he missed from 54 yards. We're noticing a pattern here with the yardage that you might pick up on. Week 9 against Indianapolis. Had a good day, 3 for 3 on extra points, kicking inside. Made his only field goal attempt, 33 yards. Then week 10 against Buffalo. He had another really good week, 2 of 2 on extra points, and he made a 48-yard field goal. Then we had some issues. Week 11 against Miami, he made 3 extra points, but for field goals, he made a 35-yarder, but he missed field goals from 49 and 55. Week 12. This was his last week kicking as a Jet. Against Houston, he made his extra point, and he made field goals from 31 and 37 yards, but he missed from 42. And then during that week, December 4th, he was released. And the next day, the Jets signed the immortal Alex Kessman to kick against the Eagles, where he missed 2 extra points. And then he was promptly cut to sign Eddie Pinheiro. So as we went through, Jeremy, here's my question. As we went through those numbers, those stats, is there any particular tendency that kind of stuck out to you in terms of Amendola's kicking performance? In terms of what he was good at, what he wasn't quite so good at?
He was good at punting.
Well, yeah, the punting was good. But the biggest thing that I noticed is he was good when he was kicking from inside 40 yards. He was 11 for 11 on field goals from inside 40 yards. But he was 14 of 15 on extra points. But when we go 40 to 49 yards, he was only 2 for 5. And from 50 yards and up, he was 0 for 3. His longest make was 49 yards. He just could not kick the long field goals. Oh, and then December 7th, he was signed to the practice squad. January 10th, he signed a reserve contract with the Jets. March 29th, he was released. So when we look at this, and I think when I do these segments, I'm going to come up with a word or phrase to summarize their legacy as a Jet. I think for Blake Cashman, the word I would use is battered. I think that's a pretty fitting word to sum up his career. I think if I was to sum up the career of Mr. Matt Amendola in one phrase, it would be inside 40. Because inside 40 yards, the guy was automatic, but he just could not kick the long distances, and that's why he is no longer a New York Jet. So that's my little tribute for Matt Amendola.
I do find it interesting that he was perfect under 40 yards. because it didn't.
He really
feel
was.
Like
Yeah,
it
he would have
didn't
thought
feel
so.
like
I
it was-
didn't. I would have thought that either. But he was able to make the gimmies, so to speak. So
It didn't feel like there was anything positive about it, but he did. I can't believe he made 11 field goals. I wouldn't even guess he made 11 field goals.
I mean, he made 3 field goals against Indianapolis when we were already getting our asses kicked.
Oh yeah. He did
So
do that.
they were not relevant. They weren't like game-winning clutch field goals. So I think that's the reason why we might think that way.
Well, that's interesting. And look, it's surprising because I thought the thing about him was, if anything, we were worried about his accuracy, but that he was supposedly had this booming leg that at least he can kick a 60-yard field goal. And that was what he was going to be, one of those guys who can kick a long field goal, but we weren't sure about his accuracy. And it turned out to be the opposite way around. Super reliable under 40 yards. Once it got over 40 yards, wasn't an NFL level kicker.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie Piñeiro's kicked some long field goals as a Jet, and I know people like talk about sometimes. Well, when he kicks it, the ball comes out like a knuckleball, or it comes out too low. The bottom line is, if the kick doesn't get blocked, it goes through the uprights.
Yeah,
that's what it's shown us so far. So,
well, with that being said, we have another guest to join the stream.
Oh, do we?
By popular demand. Surprise. Our boy Nick, who couldn't be here last week.
What's up, Nick?
It has been too long since you've been on the show.
I know you. I said in the chat with New York Jet Fan 4. Oh, hold on. Let me. Okay, I had the YouTube stream.
Yeah, it looks like the light's on pretty bright over there.
Yeah, sorry. Let me. If you tap it, it lightens up. But if you tap it accidentally, it goes to like Mach 5 real quick. I had the YouTube broadcast open. Sorry about that. Yeah, man, I know we tried to get on Friday. You asked me Friday afternoon, but I had the kids and we went out to watch the North Carolina victory. So I was unable to come on Friday. But yeah, man, nice little surprise. Thanks for having me. How you guys doing?
Yeah. Good to have you.
Good show, man. I'm enjoying it.
Thanks.
Show's good stuff, man.
Yeah, I was excited to get Joe. He's good.
Hey, it's fun. We enjoyed doing it. We get guests like this. I mean, we just kind of follow along and keep it going. I mean, nice. Joe drove it, man.
Yeah, Jeremy messaged me the invite. I'm like, really? I'm like, all right, give me a minute. How to get dressed? I'm sitting here in like a tank top.
You are the catch-up to our mustard, so it's all good.
I'm glad you caught that comment. We had a private on Facebook. We're friends, and we were messaging one day, and I was like, ketchup on a hot dog. And he's like, no.
And we were agreeing on everything under the sun until we got to that topic. That was the funny part.
That was my favorite part of the night, that you quoted the National Hot Dog Council. I was like, he knows this stat. That's awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's an actual thing because I had to have actual evidence. I had to have more than personal opinion to back up my claims. I needed research for such an important situation.
I love it.
But and that's the thing. I mean, I lived in Chicago for 20 years, where it's basically ingrained in you. You don't put ketchup on a hot dog. But I moved out there. They put. I don't know if you've ever had a Chicago. Have you guys ever had a Chicago style before or no?
I have. I was at a Cubs game.
Yeah.
I went to Wrigley Field. I've been in Kaminsky also. I've seen White Sox. I've seen the Cubs. I used to travel to Chicago all the time for business. So
yeah. They got their own version of it. What?
What's Chicago stuff?
Okay, so here's the idea. So it's going to be totally foreign, but you start with the poppy seeded bun, steamed. Now, typically, my thing is they steam the hot dog. Me, I like the char on it, but most places steam it. Then you put on the yellow mustard, chopped white onion, neon green relish, sliced tomatoes, pickle spear, celery salt, and the hot sport peppers, which are grown in Louisiana, give the heat. Those are optional.
Yeah, I don't do anything.
It's crazy,
man. I blame my mom.
First time I saw it, I was 16. I'm like, just give me mustard and onion.
I'm a barbecued onion guy. I'm a big barbecue onion guy on my dog.
Yeah, but it's something to try at least one time to see if it's something that some people might like, and but it's hot dogs are very regional. Everybody has their own way of doing stuff.
Yeah,
like
no,
in the South, they
absolutely.
like coleslaw on it. So
Absolutely.
craziness.
I blame my mom when I was a kid. When I would curse, she would put Tabasco sauce in my mouth. So like my fear of spice is like PTSD. So like I don't do anything spicy.
So you will not be doing the hot sauce with Jeremy when we hit a certain milestone down the road.
Hot sauce? No. I'll do like Sweet Baby Ray's, and people are like, "This is so mild," and I'm like, "Sometimes it kicks." I'm not talking anything like really spicy. I'm just talking regular Sweet Baby Ray's, and I'm like, "Ooh, that's got some punch."
Yeah, that was actually they make that not far from where I was living. I think it's like in Elk Grove Village. That's like the Sweet Baby Ray's. They got Sweet Baby Ray's restaurants out there. So yeah, that's a pretty big. People love that. It is a little sweet for me. I like a little bit. I like smoke. I taste the smoke. A little bit of sweet, but I want to taste that smokiness.
Yeah.
That
Look, I got to be honest. It's not the Chicago hot dog was nothing I would ever do on purpose. Like at home, I'd never say, "Oh, I'm gonna get all the ingredients." But when I was sitting at that game, and it was pretty chilly. It was early in the year, in April, and when I got that hot dog. Well, I didn't really get my client, like the person who I was getting to take to the game, literally ordered it and said, "You're trying a Chicago style hot dog." When I was eating it, even though individually I would never do it, I'm not really into that. I'm not into this. It was freaking amazing. Like it was like together. It
doesn't make sense.
It works. Right. It just works.
Yeah,
and it's amazing. All the different parts of the countries have their own way of doing the same food. Right.
Yeah.
Like they put their own little touch on it based on the region. I don't travel very much, but it sounds fun.
I can't get behind putting chili on a hot dog because I feel like it's just going to make it completely soggy and everything's going to fall apart. And if the whole thing's going to fall apart, then what's the point? I don't know. I can't get into the chili.
I feel the same way about marriage. If the whole thing's going to fall apart, what's the point?
Just come next week where we compare food and marriage.
Life hacks with Nick. It'll be my new channel.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, that's great. Hey, I've lived in a few different places, and it's real funny because my dad never really traveled a lot, and he learned a very hard lesson in life. When he dropped my brother off at NC State, North Carolina, the college. My dad's a real meat potato. He only likes 6 things in the world kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like he's like steak, potato, French fries, mashed potatoes. My mom's chicken when she cooks it. Very limited. But he likes grilled cheese. So we're in North Carolina. He's in this diner type place, and he's like, "I want grilled." He orders grilled cheese.
Oh boy.
And didn't say anything or didn't he didn't say anything, right? He just he just ordered it, and it came. Can you imagine? Like it came with shit on it, like mayo,
pimento cheese, right?
Yeah. It came with.
As soon as you said it, I'm like, this is gonna have freaking pimento on it, which is just so weird.
Yeah. It came with.
As soon as you said it, I'm like, this is gonna have freaking pimento on it, which is just so weird. Oh, I can hear myself in the background. Hey, Matt, how are you?
We got
I'm
Matt.
good. How are you?
Which is just fantastic.
You got to mute your other.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Give me a sec. Forgot about that.
Yeah, Matt. What kind of
Turn
guest
the
would do
radio
that?
down.
What kind of guest would have the YouTube stream playing in the back?
Usually I mute it.
I did the same thing. That's why I'm saying it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. Matty, can we say first time, long time?
yeah.
What's up, man? It's good to see you in person.
Good to see you too.
Yeah,
Well, I
you
see you all the
know what? You come across as a guy that would get along really well in real life with J. Cole.
Is that a compliment?
I guess.
Maybe. I mean, you seem like around the same age. You're not that much older than him, right?
I don't even know his age, so
He's
he
just
looked
more.
like he was like 20. So
He's like 20.
Yeah.
makes sense.
So you play football too, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
What position?
The entire offensive line
Wow.
and the entire defensive line
Okay, so now J. Cole's going to be challenging you forever, saying we need to go and line up.
and running back, all right? And running back.
Nice.
Not trying to brag.
Oh man, so
real
you
quick
excited?
with the
Sorry,
grilled
go ahead.
cheese thing? I know a lot of people use butter to make the grilled cheese. Use mayo. It'll change your life.
No.
It's a better lard. Yes. It cooks better and tastes better.
can't
Try
do
it
mayo
one
either,
time.
man.
I said that years ago. I'm 43, 25 years now. I've been doing mayo. It's so much better. And I love melted butter. I love it. That's why my cholesterol is so goddamn high. I love melted butter. But
I don't know. I hate butter. It's like
try mayonnaise.
I
Try
use
one time, and I
coconut oil.
promise you won't go back.
I use coconut oil. So
Matty, if you keep that up, you'll be the entire defensive line, but you'll be playing all four positions.
Coconut oil for grilled cheese?
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
I would eat coconut.
I
I'm gonna
use
try that.
coconut oil for like everything when I'm cooking because it doesn't stick at all.
Oh,
Like a
I'm
little
gonna try
stick.
that.
And there's like no calories and stuff. So
It's the best for popcorn. Like
Yeah.
it's like coconut oil is absolutely the best for popcorn. No question
Amazing.
about it.
yeah, I don't really eat popcorn though.
What, after you pop it, put it on?
No,
we pop it in the oil.
instead of oil, you use coconut.
Oh, I got an air popcorn maker.
Oh.
My mom got it for me and the kids for Christmas. So I have an air popcorn maker. And I love that, how convenient and nice and easy it is. But that's been the challenge, is getting like flavor and like taste. Oh boy.
I'm gonna go get my computer for you really quick. My computer's at like 2%. So I'll be back.
Okay.
Matty,
Hurry
get
up.
out of here.
Oh, so we had like a 2 seconds of J. Cole and Matt and
Why
Natty
did
being
he
on at the
leave?
same time.
You
He
have
had
that
a-
effect on
I'm
people.
going back.
Felt upstaged.
I wanted to say hi.
Hey, what's up? Pretty soon we'll have the entire stream, like all the viewers in here.
Oh, wait,
So we
J.
will-
Cole's here?
Oh, really?
How you doing, man? Nice to meet you.
I'm good. Nice to meet you too, Nick Shine. I'm a big fan.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I'm telling you, man, when you talk football, you make good comments. You got to stick to that. Like, what is going on?
What is going on?
Thank you. I will. When I'm on with you, Nick Shine, I'll dance once and I'll talk football the rest.
That's my man. You don't have to do it with just me.
Yeah, and Jeremy too, and Y2K. We're gonna have a show. Me, you, Jeremy, and Y2K.
All right, I'm back.
I'm like the king of discovery. Like Nick Shine, like I knew it before anybody. When I saw him on After
Oh, wow.
Dark.
We're in our underwear. We're in
When
our
I met-
underwear.
when I met you on
Smith,
Weapons
get in
Hotline,
your
Doing yoga
position.
now?
Get in your position, Matthew Smith. Let's go.
He's like, what the hell did I just get
Let's go.
myself into?
this is getting wacky.
I'm going to tell you, J. Cole would lose because as a football coach, that stance
He would-
was not
he would
good.
get-
Your
he
right
would get
leg was
pancaked
straight.
in
You looked like you were about
Now
to
it's
run
the-
track.
Now it's a wacky
Give me
Thursday.
3 seconds with him.
Oh, 3 seconds, huh?
Oh, it is a wacky Thursday. You're right. Look at him, he's dancing.
Eastern time.
So, well, what I was going to say is the second we were on Weapons Hot, me and Nick together, and I knew instantly. I said, I got to get this guy on my channel. He's too good to not be on like streaming.
Long Beach Joe.
No, Nick, but Long Beach Joe. As soon as I saw his show, I knew. That
Yeah.
I had
It
to
was
work.
pretty
with
good today. It was a great show.
Thanks, appreciate that.
No
What's
problem.
going on, Matthew? How far do you live from J. Cole? Because he lives in Patchogue, in that area. Where are you?
Oh, I'm in Islip.
Oh,
That's not
I can
far, is
travel
it?
to You?
I don't know. It's like half hour maybe.
We'll throw on the
Oh.
pads.
Yeah, I wish.
I'm just kidding, Matthew Smith. We're buddies.
Yeah,
With
I know.
buddies in his own mind. Matthew's so
Never thought I would see J. Cole doing a 3-point stance in his underwear tonight. You never know what's going to happen on this freaking show.
I'm telling you, I
I had a tank top on and like I felt inappropriate. And I'm like, I should put the jet jacket on. There we go.
Yeah.
He's
I
like,
gotta-
nope, you're going to see my pouch.
Yeah. Well, I'm outside, so I had to put a sweatshirt on.
Matthew Smith, get in your 3-point stance right now.
No.
No,
thank you. I think it would blow your mind on how good it is.
Oh, really?
I'm only 6 months out of football, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't
I'm only
forgotten
like
much.
6 months, too. Out of football, too.
cool.
Jeremy, are you sure you want your colleagues seeing this right now? I'm just
Hey, what makes my show different is you never know what's going to happen.
You never know. It's
You
wacky.
never know.
Wednesday,
It's
baby.
like you never know. Everybody's invited. Everybody that supports my channel is in the chat. Eventually, when they want to, they can come on and they can do their thing. It's late on Wednesday night. Nobody has to watch if they don't want to. People who want to watch choose to watch, and they'll be here and enjoy you guys, right?
Eminon, J. Cole looks like Dan Feeney.
What the hell? Doesn't he have a mullet, that guy?
I was going to say, where's your mullet and your stash, bro?
I just got a haircut. I got a short
I
haircut.
know. Yeah, you need like a mullet wig or something.
Yeah.
It's got time to form and grow in. He's young still. He can get a good mullet.
That kind of has the haircut that J. Cole used to have.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing.
I just got a haircut for me and Jeremy's last stream, but I think I regret it. I don't know how I like it.
Yeah. Thank God you got a haircut.
V-Man says that if we hit 100 likes, I'll come on and showcase a 1873 trap door. I'm so down for that. Like, I'm so curious. I'm so down for that. Oh my God. So hey, so I jumped on the Jameson Williams train today. What do you guys think?
Me too.
I've been on his train since the start of the season.
That's true. Yeah. What about you, Nick?
I love it. I was a big Jameson guy. I was doing him, and let me rephrase that. I was selecting him. I was selecting
I'm a Jack
him.
Daniels guy.
I was selecting him at number 8 in like December on mocks. I was doing like a mock draft Monday every week in the Jet group, and I was taking Williams at 8 when Seattle had the 8th pick overall. And I would have no issue with it. I think when I look at, I think I commented on your Twitter today. When I look at him, I see the potential of like Devontae Adams' frame and footwork. I love his footwork. I know I think Adam said it earlier when you looked at his tape. He's open. That's because his footwork is so filthy. That
He's from Ohio State. They love their route running.
Yeah, and he's very
crisp. It's unique. It's fantastic. It's always on point. When you go to Alabama and you take a receiver, you look at Cooper, you look at Judy, and many other guys who've come out. You're getting guys who have good footwork or good route running. They're crisp out of their breaks. I would love Jameson Williams. I said it on this show, and I think I said it on Weapons Hot 2 with CJ. You're not drafting him for September and opening day. You're drafting him for the next decade. And the way technology is now, ACL tears, you're not inhibited when you come back. You're good. So I don't think it's a red flag, the ACL tear. Like I said, he can come in November, and it would be like a trade deadline, huge acquisition. And the kid wants to be great. He's going to come in and do everything he can to get back in time or on time. He's ahead of schedule already. I love the kid. I really do. I could see maybe Joe trading back a little bit because, as I've said before, I don't see Joe making picks 4 and 10. I see him dropping down a little bit. And my bold prediction is on Friday, before day 2 starts, we acquire A.J. Brown before the draft starts on day 2. Breaking news: New York Jets have acquired A.J. Brown. So we keep I'll dance with you, J. Cole, if it happens. I promise you. Okay? I'll dance with you. I'll do the fucking worm. I promise you.
We'll do it together, baby.
Mine's more just like a pancake because once I hit the ground now at my age, I don't flop anymore.
I can't do it either, but I got other dance moves.
So I paid money for
all the mayo you put on the grilled cheese over the years.
What 2K, you crazy man, you. I love you.
You tell a guy something and he uses it against you.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the cons about Joe Douglas. He moved back a lot in the 5th round. When it came out, they really liked Ben Mason, the fullback from Michigan, and he traded back, and he ended up taken. So, yeah, I think it's not far-fetched that he trades back, but I think we should trade up. You know, if Jameson Williams falls to 20, then we trade up for him. I think, I think he's going 22 to Packers if he's there. So
it would be the perfect fit.
Yeah, it would.
So who's gonna run naked through MetLife if I hit 1,000?
100% me. Last time I went to the Jets game this year, I had my shirt off. And I was going crazy.
That's nuts.
Didn't shock me.
That's crazy.
By
So
the
Matt,
way, if they still like Ben Mason so much, he's been on the Ravens, the Patriots, the Bears, and now he's with the Ravens again. The Jets have had every chance to scoop up Ben Mason if they wanted him. So I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think they're going to stick with Nick Bawden, and I'm good
I
with
guess
that.
not. That's what I heard. And then
I was interested in the
know.
guy too, but it's when you're on your fourth team in 12 months, it's not a good sign.
Yeah, true.
so Matt, when are you on Friday night? What time works for you to do a draft with me?
I think after 5, I'd say. Yeah.
Anytime after 5 p.m. Oh,
Yeah.
that's easy. So like 10 p.m. at night, because
Yeah.
Okay,
That's fine.
Okay, I'll send you the link for that. We'll do that so you can do a draft. But it seemed like you wanted to get on tonight. J. Cole saw the link and hit it, and I threw him out the first time.
Yeah.
And then I felt bad.
I wanted to say something.
Yeah.
So first off, Jameson Williams, after what I saw today, that he might be ready for a training camp. I think you can take him at 10. No questions asked. That's how talented he is, I think. And also, Matthew Smith, you challenged me to a dance battle in the chat. I'm holding you to it. Let's go, baby.
I didn't challenge you. You challenged me. I never.
No. You challenged me.
I said I could beat you. I never said I'll challenge you.
You said that's the same thing, saying you could beat me.
No, it's not. It's not.
Well, you gotta consider this for Matt. You're being crazy within the confines of your own bedroom. He's sitting out on the porch in public.
Oh, I'll go outside right now.
I'm not asking for it, believe me.
Yeah.
You didn't even put shorts on for the show, so let's not send you
enjoying my
outdoors.
night right now.
J. Cole, it's not fair.
I put my hat on.
It's not fair because Matt's not missing.
Oh wait, look, I got devil's horns.
Yep, we got the horns now.
I got devil's horns.
Yeah, you've taken on like my blonde hair and my horns.
But I'm telling you, man, like people aren't running away from the stream, which tells me, and I've told J. Cole this, it's like if he did a channel where he just filmed himself being crazy in the world, it would be hard not to watch.
Yeah, that's why I bought my new computer. I spent $1,000 for it. And first to go on Jeremy's stream, and then it didn't work to go on the stream, so I'd go on my phone. But now I figured out how to do the stream on my computer, and I'm going to start filming content. And when I go viral, giving $1 million to Jeremy, I'll give like 15 to Watch2K, 15K, and I'll give like 20.
Okay, but I want to make sure that wasn't $15. I ain't that.
No, I respect you more than $15, Watch2K.
I've never been so moved in my life, to be honest with you.
But yeah, I want to do that, Jeremy.
I'm telling you, man, people are gonna say, "Oh, you're crazy." People, but like, it's impossible not to watch. Like, if you filmed yourself like in a diner, like talking to the waitress and act the way you act, I can't shut that off. There's no way I can shut that off.
Asking the waitress at the diner, "Will you come to my wedding?"
Yeah. Will you marry me? Will you be my wife?
No, that'll be ruled out immediately.
So, is everyone here coming to my wedding? Is my question.
I plead the fifth.
Are you even dating anybody?
No, not right now. I'm
all right. Let's not put the carriage before the horse, brother.
That's why I don't even answer that question.
I just made a Tinder. I made a Tinder.
Let me know, like when you're with a girl for like say 3 months.
He made a Tinder.
Not just in your mind.
Listen, Watch2K. Listen, me, you, Nick Shine, and Jeremy, we're gonna hit the bar one day.
All right, J. Cole, I want to give some advice.
Yeah, what's up?
It's not. You don't want to meet a girl on Tinder. It's not as good as you think.
Yeah,
it's better meeting them in person.
Matt, do you have a story?
Finding one.
What?
Matt, is there a story that you'd like to tell us?
Yeah, Matt. There sounds like there's a story that has to be told.
There's not a story. I mean, there could be, but I just think I made one like 3 months ago and I deleted it like 2 weeks after just because it wasn't great.
Yeah.
But you have a girlfriend.
I don't like meeting people over online. So
I'll tell you a funny
online
story.
dating. It's just...
I joined it one night drunk just to see what the fuss was about.
Makes sense.
And yeah, right. That's why you do it. It's and I totally forgot that I had it. And then like how they send you alerts like on your phone. Like a week or two later, I get an alert that so and so liked you or whatever, and I looked, and it was like one of my best friend's ex-wives. and I screenshot it and I sent it to her, and I was like, "Is this really a thing?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me with this?" And then like I saw her at like her daughter's basketball game, and like I gave her like a look, like no.
Well, I'm not the only one stealing wives. It's you too now, Nick Shine.
I said X. I said X.
Oh, X. Sorry.
Yeah, like I've seen
that's a
people like,
gray
from my
area.
high school on Tinder, and like we match, but like we don't do it. Like it's just a joke, really.
So, Matthew Smith, I don't mean to interrupt, but we're going to go back to some football stuff right now, as Nick Shine like to say.
That
So
makes
my
sense.
question, what would you guys give up to trade for this guy right here, DK
Nothing.
Metcalf?
I don't
Nope.
want him.
I mean,
I don't
no
want
more
him.
than a second.
I don't want him at all.
I'd give pick number 4 right now.
No.
And with a great downfield quarterback, he had 11 games of 60 yards or less last year.
Can I ask you a
I was
question?
just
I don't
wondering.
want
With a terrible O line, though.
I would rather take Tyler Lockett than DK
Can I ask you a
Metcalf.
question, Nick Shine?
Yeah,
Did Russell Wilson have the
right.
best year
Don't go
last
that far.
Did Russell Wilson have the best year last year?
Russell Wilson got hurt, and he was never the same after he came back.
Yeah,
The O line was the worst they've been in like 8 years.
Okay. What about the other 2 years? I don't think he's had over 80 catches. I don't think he's
But
a
he's
number
also
one.
had over 24 touchdowns.
Lockett had 100
Yeah,
catches
tell
in
him
3
that,
straight seasons. I would take Lockett over Metcalf. Lockett is more dependable. Lockett is a better route runner for this offense. Metcalf is a downfield passing guy for somebody like Wilson, for an offense like Tampa Bay. And by the way, I've positioned myself that the horns are perfect on my head. So
Nick
I
Scandalous.
would not want Metcalf. I would prefer a better route runner because everything about this offense is timing, precision, great route running. I don't see that when I watch Metcalf. I think he's a bad fit for us. And I
Okay,
think
so
people are
Metcalf
trying to play
has
fantasy
58,
football.
83, and 75 catches in the 3 seasons.
Okay, he did hit
58
81.
catches on 100 targets, which is not very good. 83 catches on 129 targets, quite good. 75 on 129. Not the greatest catch
How many
percentage.
catches-
With an elite
Scores a lot
quarterback.
of touchdowns, and he gets about 1,000. He averages 1,000 yards a season. So
How
So
many
let me
touchdowns?
say
too?
this. Let me say
7,
this.
10, and 12.
I think
7
that
touchdowns, 10 touchdowns, 12 touchdowns this year.
okay,
That's hard to pass up.
but also I
But
think
you got to look at the route running.
excuse
like
me,
the
Nick
route
Shine,
running
not
is-
trying to be rude, excuse me,
Yeah.
but this is so I think the stats don't show as much. Can you zoom up on me, Jeremy, like you just did with Lot 2K?
Yeah, I'm gonna try because I'm trying to get. He left. He was here. V-Man is here.
Oh, get him in here. I was gonna
I know,
say,
but he left, so I got to get V-Man back in here. I got to make him big because he's going to show us a trap door.
oh,
Oh,
yes.
there he is. V-Man, I'll be right with you. Do your thing, J. Cole, because we got to get.
Well,
V-Man.
I was just saying that DK Metcalf, he's more of like a really bad matchup for defenses. So like he's not getting a ton of catches each game, but he's impacting the game more than you think. And you don't think Zach Wilson would want him, Nick Shine? I'm just saying. And he's 24 years old.
I don't care about personal feelings. I don't care what he would want. I care about scheme fit. And I think Joe Douglas operates that way too. How does this
I
fit
don't-
into what we
like-
run?
I don't think Joe Douglas cares about, like, obviously he cares about what Zach Wilson wants, but he's doing what's better for the team. He's gonna do what he
Which
thinks
is what I
better for
just
the
said,
team
right? Like
and
the
not-
scheme fit.
Yeah, exactly. So if Zach Wilson wants Cooper Kupp, like it's not gonna happen. Like obviously because Cooper Kupp's not gonna get traded, but you know where I'm going.
But that's somebody who's a pristine route runner. That's
Yeah,
somebody you
yeah.
make the move for because he can fit in any offense with how crisp his
Yeah.
routes are.
But I'm saying like he's not gonna get someone just because Zach Wilson wants it. I know, like I don't know who the GM was. I think maybe Isaac, and he like drafted Mark Sanchez's friend in like the 5th round.
Oh, Scotty McKnight, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Good
I
call,
became a
good
Jets
call.
fan like
Somebody
3
got
years
Scotty
ago.
McKnight.
So
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
everyone. I'm
it
going
didn't
to
turn out well.
V-Man?
I think definitely Zach Wilson doesn't make the personnel decisions. JD does, but hey, we'll see. We're all gonna know. We'll see the moves he makes. Hey, I'm gonna bring in V-Man. I want to see this trapdoor that's like 150 something years old or something like that. So, and it's just so random that
There's V-Man,
where is he? Where did he pop up?
way on the
Oh,
bottom.
he's down there. Look at him, little guy. Okay, there you go, buddy.
Hey, V-Man.
What's up,
All
buddy?
right, now nobody freak out. Now nobody freak out. It has probably not worked in over 100 years. It's broken. It does not function. So nobody freak out.
I won't. Oh my God!
Wow.
Yep. This is an 8. I got this for graduating high school. I found it in an old antique shop in upstate New York.
Oh my God!
Wow. Is that like from the? Like
I love
from
that upstate New York will sell weapons to a minor with no issue.
Well, no, technically, because it classifies as an antique firearm.
I got you. I understand.
So it doesn't actually. So like that, it's not. Also, like I said, broken stock. If you can't see the crack there, can you see that crack?
Yep.
Yeah, we can see it.
So you can't
that
shoot
like-
anyone with it?
Well, no, I'd have to not only do that, I'd have to find a firing pin and also have somebody unclog whatever. I think some kid jammed pencils in the barrel.
Well, what year is it?
It's I believe it's 1873.
Yeah. So I know if it's before 1898, I think you don't need a license to sell it.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, exactly.
1898.
I learned that on Pawn Stars.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, how in the world?
yeah.
You're like the smartest young people.
Yeah, so they would always only buy guns that it was before like 1898. So
Yeah,
they don't have to
I
get
think
it.
they're probably like a few exceptions to that rule, but
Yeah. There's always loopholes. So
I
V-Man.
have to say, I got to tell you guys that V-Man, this is not the first time I've been on a live stream and someone has said to me, "Do you see the crack?" I just want to say this is the first time that it's been on a free site.
no, I just thought I'd pull that out of nowhere.
V-Man. Do you like quesadillas?
Football. Football.
Football. All right, then.
God.
And I'll pull out something football. Well, look at me today.
This kid's great. This kid is absolutely.
Now V-Man's the one going into his closet.
No, and he came out of the closet.
Don't go
Finally.
there.
Here's a really dope picture. I just wish I could get an autograph to go with it.
Oh, Joe Namath?
Yeah.
So
The glare from
my
the
brother
computer
goes
screen.
to
Well,
the
shine,
Joe
baby.
Namath
Looks like
Foundation
Joe.
all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
Wow.
gave it for my 25th. It was like either my 24th or my 25th birthday.
Nice.
Yeah, no.
Nice.
J. Cole, what are you trying out for Miami Vice? What's going on over here?
What the hell is he doing?
Yeah, that's exactly how they danced back in Miami in
I
the
got
80s.
the fucking, yeah, yo, speaking, I got the looking at the outfit, I got the fucking Vice City theme playing in my head from GTA.
I love GTA.
Do those buttons button? Do they reach?
Oh, it's very tight.
Yeah, I can tell.
Can we get Long Beach Joe back on already?
I know.
So you want to talk football? Talk football. I
Yes,
was
let's
gonna
talk
say,
football.
I would absolutely love to get AJ Brown just because you know what? Wouldn't it just be hilarious? Just the thought of it. Every team in this division getting an elite wide receiver through a trade, except the Patriots. You know how much that would drive them nuts.
That would.
Makes sense.
I'm all about
Belichick
it.
will just get
Very
another
good
third
point.
tight end, I guess. To go
But-
And the 10,000, yeah, the tight
Nathan
end.
Henry.
So V-Man, who would you take it for? If you could have anybody you want it for, who would it be?
Like, okay, so it's like, so does this include scenario where all the picks ahead of us have potato brain and whiff and take someone stupid?
Right, like if
He's
Hutchinson
going
was
with my
there.
answer. I could
If
tell already. He's
Hutchinson
going
was
with
there,
my
yeah, like
answer.
if Hutchinson was there, would you take him?
This is
I
not
mean,
an essay question.
is there like, okay, do pigs fly?
Okay, good answer. So Hutchinson is your first choice. What if Tibbs slips to 4? Do you take Tibbs?
Well, I think I don't buy into the like all this down talk of him. I think a lot of it's a lot of nonsense. I mean, you just gotta look at the numbers. Look at the fresher rate dude got in college. That says it. That says it all right there.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's very good.
Yeah.
I mean, every other edge, like star edge of this draft, had another person on the other side besides Jermaine Johnson, really. But Hutch had Ojabo, you know. Trayvon Walker
KT?
had Jordan
Who did
Davis.
KT have?
What happened there?
KT had no one.
Yeah.
And he still had the highest pressure rate in all of college. So
yeah. No, you're right about Ojabo. He was very helpful for Aiden Hutchinson's success. So
yeah.
Would you guys take him in the second round now? Or would you not touch him with that injury?
Ojabo?
I wouldn't touch him. I wouldn't touch him because of his run stopping ability. He's not great.
I think he's more of a 3-4 outside linebacker. I don't think he's the scheme fit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have taken him even if it wasn't for the injury, to be honest.
Really?
I'd rather take Boye Mafe.
Me too.
Yeah.
I like Boye.
So
Renanon, you're not wrong.
So everyone, what's your favorite food?
No, we didn't even finish the football talk. Stay on football. We're not changing. Let Jeremy run the show.
Okay.
He's throwing questions around. Let him produce. You just answer.
Jeremy's our point guard.
So okay, so I like Boye too. Okay, now 10. So who would you like to see fall to 10? Like and let's
Sauce
not let
Gardner?
huh?
Sauce Gardner.
Okay, so I think we probably all agree with if Sauce was there at 10, it would be a miracle.
Not someone, Jeremy. You know
I don't think he's gonna fall there. I mean, that would be good. Like, but that all depends. Like, it all depends on if you're able to get a wide receiver. Like, if you're able to make a trade for a wide receiver, like an AJ Brown, then yeah, go Sauce. If you can't get a wide receiver, I think I'd push corner back later. Like, for me, I think you need positions of top 10, top 5 picks should go to positions that are currently liabilities. Corner right now, like, I don't see it as a liability. I mean, it's not. I won't say it's a solid position. There's room for improvement. Like I said, wide receiver outside of what Berrios and Elijah Moore. Who do you really trust right now? You're hoping Corey Davis bounces back, and I don't even remember who the rest of the guys are right now.
Nobody
outside
does.
of those three. So like
Tyreek Black.
Denzel Mims.
Oh
Jeff
God,
Smith.
please.
Well, we also added 2 good pass catching tight ends.
Yeah, that
Doesn't mean we shouldn't
Yeah,
add to the wide
true.
receiver group, but something to think about.
That's why I
Definitely
talked about
helps.
the depth, how low we are on wide receiver depth. If one of those top 3 guys gets hurt, I mean, who are you bringing in? And yeah, you could tell me about it. We could run the 12 offense or whatever all day long, but at the end of the day, you need some wide receivers. So to me, I still think they
can't run
need
an
2.
offense folded to a tight end.
I believe Keelan Cole is a fallback option. He took that slant to the house against Buffalo,
Yeah.
like the most exciting play we had all day.
He has breakaway speed.
So, when you can take a slant and you can go the distance, you have value in the league.
Yeah,
Whether you're the 4 or the 5, every position goes through injuries. So he knows the system. I think you're going to see him as a post-draft signing. Maybe if we get a guy, or if we take someone like Jameson Williams, who needs some time to before he hits the field, you bring in Cole on a 1-year deal flyer. Joe's been doing that a lot. Also, when you look at picks 4, 10, and 35, I want edge, receiver, D tackle. I don't care what order. I don't care what player. My dream would be Thibodeau, Williams, and Winfrey. I think I commented it earlier in the chat.
Okay.
Like my dream draft.
Off topic, still Jets related. I've always had this idea for like a Jets fan cave concept. What do you think of it? So I thought, what if, because we're the Jets, obviously, and where do you park a jet? So what if I made like the interior of the Jets fan cave feel like the inside of a hangar?
Smooth transition.
I've been dying to ask other Jets fans about that because I could never find anyone who was willing to give me an honest opinion about that.
You'd have to take like everything off the walls and just make it like metallic looking.
Yeah,
Are you gonna literally have airplanes hanging from the ceiling, or
it's like make it feel like a hangar. So like the floor is like kind of like a concrete in a hangar. Then you have like something that have like the metal sheet plating, and then like so about at the halfway point the bottom is green, like the bottom is white, and the top would be green. And of course, then you would add actually, I was just gonna do like an AFC East dartboard, just everyone I hate, and just the Dolphins, Patriots, and Bills. You guys actually Tom Brady dartboard. Maybe I'd put that in there, but yeah, it'd be obviously so like I said, the aesthetics would be there to make it feel like a hanger, but like all the pictures, posters, and stuff would be Jets related.
B-Man, are you coming to my wedding is all I need to know.
I can
It's going to be in 15 years. Why are you talking about it now?
Listen, Matthew
Hey,
Smith.
let me ask a
all right?
question. Let me ask a question about things that'll never happen either. Hey, you guys coming to watch me run the 100-meter in the Olympics?
All right, I got another
which
thing.
Olympics?
I got another thing. Are you gonna watch my coronation ceremony as the next king of France?
Oh my God. Swanson, who's new to the chat, welcome to the channel.
Hey,
Says Salah will definitely be built on pass rush getting to the quarterback. I believe that. I'm confident 4 will be edge. Me too. 10 will be a wide receiver.
No, exactly. The thing that boggles my mind is you still see people out here like coming out with these mock drafts after like everything the Jets have said. They're not even being subtle. It's like it's not even the subtle thing. Like we are taking edge. You got all these mock draft analysts. I think they're taking corner at 4.
Mhm.
I can't be sure, but I'm confident in it.
Like Derek Stingley and Charles Cross. I mean,
Yeah, no, it's like I see it all the time. It's like the mock drafts I see. I love laughing at them for how comedic they are. Like
How
these
about the mock drafts that still have us taking Icky at 4? Like who's getting benched?
I don't even
What are you
understand.
going to bench Tomlinson for
Like-
Icky and put him at guard? You're going to bench
Let's use one of-
AVT?
Let's use one of the most.
I
premier picks
I
in
don't
the
get
draft.
those drafts either. But like
Yeah, you don't
It's like,
draft
I mean,
goal line
you
depth with
broadcast-
the 4th overall pick.
Right.
unless you're trading Fant because he only has 1 year left on his contract, or if they don't believe in Becton. If they were to draft a Kwanu, that is your number one sign that they don't believe in Becton anymore.
That means
Right.
Becton's getting dealt like later that day for like the Bengals 1st round pick. Well, the Bengals don't even need a tackle now. They got to.
No.
So that's out the window for them.
I mean, why can't
You
Fant
can't even
just be
trade
a
him to the
swing tackle?
Rams, who Whitworth retired. You can't even trade him to the Rams because they don't have a good pick until like 2053.
Why can't
Time's still waiting for a pick. Matt, what were you saying?
why can't Fant just be a swing tackle?
He is.
Or we could use him as the 6th tackle.
He deserves
I
to be
don't
the
think
starter.
I don't
He's
think
better
it's
than a
I don't
backup, I
it's
think.
on Becton yet. They're gonna give him the year.
Yes, but like,
It was such
how
a
great would it be if we had him as the swing tackle? I guess.
There was rumors early in the offseason about him getting extended. So if you want to go that route, hey, if you're going to draft Icky and something happens with Becton, okay. But I'm putting Becton below Fant right now because Fant was the top 3 pass rusher in terms of pressures allowed. Or
I mean, top 3 tack.
top 3 tackles, pass blockers, and allowing the least amount of rush. I think
Oh no,
Trent
I agree
Williams.
right now. Unless proven otherwise, yeah, he's staying where he is.
Yeah, unless like I don't know. It's a slippery slope. Becton looks like he's been working out. He looks like he's in good shape. I know he was called out by Salah on them last year. There's 2 things the good that could come out of Becton being in good shape. He comes
you
back
look
and
at
he plays
motivated.
phenomenally, right? Which we all want. We want him to come back. We want him to be fantastic.
I wanted to be
But he also looks it could be good for teams who are interested in him if we do decide to move on, right? So only good things can come out of Becton being in fantastic shape.
You're right.
yeah. No, like he's pissed, and he's gonna use that anger to motivate him.
Yes, I hope he does. And Nick Shine, I was going to ask you, what are your top 4 wide receivers in the draft in order?
Jameson Williams, Garrett Wilson, Traylon Burks, and Chris Olave.
So Jameson first?
Yeah.
No Drake London.
No Drake.
I think I'm going scheme fit for the Jets.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about what fits for us. London
Drake
is a
London's
Mike
not a
Evans.
college.
London is a Metcalf. London is a physical specimen who can get downfield and maul as a wide receiver, right? Like
He's
maul
Mike
for the
Evans.
ball. So I'm looking at crisp route running. I'm looking at guys who I've compared Jameson Williams to Devontae Adams in terms of size and footwork. Garrett Wilson is a very great route runner also. So there's no fall off between either one of them, right? And
Yeah.
in my opinion, I think it's 1A and 1B. However
Wilson
you want to
just
rank them,
healthier.
I'm okay with.
Healthier right now.
Burks, I love the yak. Like I say all the time, you watch that game against Alabama, he was the best player on the field that day. And that's going up against 74 guys on the Alabama roster who are going to become NFL players within the next 4 years. So Burks was the man that day against them.
Yeah.
And Olave is a notch below, but not very far below in terms of route running. I think they're all crisp. I think they're all fantastic in and out of their breaks. I think they'll get separation out of their breaks. I think any of those guys would make life easier for Elijah Moore and Zach Wilson and the running game. Because if you're lining up Davis, Jameson Williams, Moore, let's even take it a step further with a what if. Next year, you got A.J. Brown, Jameson Williams healthy, Elijah Moore in year 3. You're looking at an elite wide receiver core after a decade and a half of not having much, right? The last time we were able to line up guys that scared the other team was Cotchery, Edwards, and Holmes.
Yeah.
And Brad Smith was the 4.
Yeah, unless you want to say Marshall and Decker. I know that was only 2. None was kind of the third, but
who was third with that group?
I guess it was probably Curly, and then eventually Anunwa came along. But
Okay.
in terms of a 1-2, that's about as good as it was going to get.
Yeah. That was. I'm looking at the whole group because now the way football is, it's 3-4 wide receiver sets like over 60% of the time, right? So you got to have depth. You got to have multiple guys. I don't think you're going to see many teams be successful.
That's me on the field, Matthew Smith.
It looks like a bench warmer to me.
You think you can block this guy? Look at him. He's a savage. He's coming right for your head, all right? I play dirty, too.
I'm more afraid of the referee in the background.
Oh, the dreaded ref. Like they fall at the mouth waiting for that. Pull their little handkerchief.
Yeah.
Here's Nick just breaking down separation and scheme fits, and all of a sudden, here I am playing high school 4 years ago.
Man, you got to pop
It's
your
about
Ritalin.
me.
Yeah, you got to pop your Ritalin, man.
I mean,
Oh,
I have
man,
fixes too. I'm not going to show them.
Oh my God, my high
see them,
school
Matthew?
couldn't be like an JV team. My high school could be an 8th grader team.
Matthew's much more chill. He's much more like, oh, yeah. And V-Man is just confused by these guys. Like Jacob.
No, I'm just thinking about my high school. You know, like because my high school just got a new football field. And it also has, and the football field actually has direct ties to the Jets.
Breaking news today.
Yes.
Colin Kaepernick has agreed to be a part of a team.
Really?
Yeah, I heard this.
He's the honorary captain for Michigan against the Maize and Blue spring game.
Yep, the Michigan Wolverines. Yep.
I hate him so much.
Oh, doesn't his old coach
What a
Michigan?
clown.
Yeah. I hate him so much. He's ridiculous. He literally just wants attention. That's it.
What's that? That's
Me and you, Jeremy.
Oh, look at that.
You are the father.
Oh my
J. Cole, how old are you?
How old? 19 years old.
Oh, God.
Jeremy, where were you on business 20 years ago?
Holy shit! I wasn't.
For you that night, Jeremy.
Okay, I'm not the youngest in here.
Jeremy had one too many scotches and one too many hot dogs.
Yeah, Jeremy, what were you giving away that night?
Oh my God. I love this. This is my favorite shit right here. I love you boys. To the day I die, son.
All right, I'm old man. It's 12:30 out here. I'm heading to bed. Gentlemen, have a good night. Jeremy, as always, thank you for having me on. V-Man, Matt, J. Cole, it's nice to meet you guys. Adam, always a pleasure. And I will send you a picture of the next hot dog I have with ketchup.
I love it.
Later, guys.
Later.
We'll see you later.
So what V-Man left
took off, and then there were 4.
And there was just me and Matthew Smith.
See, now you got your show, the 4 of it. Yeah, well, Matt's taking Nick's place, but now you got like your 4 horsemen thing going on right now.
Well, V-Man though. Aw.
Yeah, I like V-Man. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Where's V-Man from anyway? Where's anyone know where he lives?
He's in the original town where the Jets had training camp before the Hofstra. Like, where were they originally?
Cortland?
No, Cortland was in the rec states for a little bit. They did a little camp up there.
All right.
So I have an idea.
I forgot. It's
Well,
like
since-
they're literally in the original training camp of the Jets.
That's freaking cool, actually.
They moved around a few times.
So Matthew Smith, do you have a highlight tape from
Yeah.
your highlights from football?
Yeah. Of course
Can
I
we
do.
play it? We played mine before.
You have a
If you have-
highlight tape?
No, I played it. He has a highlight shape. It's real deal. Real deal. He's good.
I
He
don't
was
know.
good. He was good. If you ever want me to play your highlights tape, I'd be happy to do it.
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
I'll think about it.
It's up to you, man.
So the
Pretty
Jets
good,
were in Hofstra from 1968 to 2008. Before that, it was Peekskill, New York. Before that, East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. This is like going back to the Titans days now.
Yeah, well, I don't even know that. What
No,
are
maybe Peaksville.
I do the research, man. It's out there, but
So Wacky
yeah,
Cat,
I guess probably Peekskill. They were there from 63 to 67 before they went to Hofstra.
I think that's
You
where he may be.
do you live in Virginia, Watuka?
I do.
How is it there?
How is it here? I mean, I don't know. What do you mean?
Is there much to do?
Do you like it?
Is there much to do? I've been here about 5 years, and you got a ton of military over here.
I thought you were gonna say a ton of
all
milk.
over the country. Sorry.
I thought you were gonna say a ton of MILFs. You know what that is?
No, that's what you would do. That's what you would want me to say. So I'm not going to give you
Yeah.
the satisfaction.
All right, continue.
No, out here they're very married or they're very ghetto for the most part. That's what I have found.
Both work for me.
But that's okay. No,
Yeah.
it's okay. Yeah, I got my Jets group. I got my friends. I work a ton. I do this. Always doing a lot of cooking. I'm not going to complain. And you know what I like? I could get to the mountains. I could get to the ocean. I could get to D.C., Baltimore, Raleigh, Richmond, Charlottesville, all kinds of cool towns. Ocean City, Maryland, Outer Banks in one day's drive. It's
That's really cool, man.
I like being on the edge of north and south. It's pretty good.
That's nice.
Not perfect, but it's good.
How did you meet Jeremy?
We haven't yet.
Well, like through YouTube. Like, how'd you be his
No,
coach?
we were both. Am I being interviewed right now? I'm thinking that's interesting happening here.
I don't know.
Welcome to 60 Minutes with J. Cole.
21 questions.
Reporter J. Cole on the scene, interviewing Watu-K99, also known as Adam.
So
Yeah, that'll get 4 holes. That'll get 4 viewers if we're lucky.
no,
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah. But oh yeah. So how do we meet? No, we were backstage for Green Bean show,
Oh, nice.
and one thing's led to another. Yeah.
All I said in the group
What you
in Green Bean's live stream, all I said was NFL chaos with Jeremy, and he goes, J. Cole, cut the shit, and I'm like, what? All I
Who
said
said that?
was
Who said that to you?
Green Bean,
Really? When did that happen?
like his last stream when these
Oh.
Monday.
Yeah. Did he actually say that, or did
Yeah.
he type it? Oh.
No, he said it out. He goes, J. Cole, I know what you're doing. Cut the shit. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm
But
just
it's all in, but you have to understand, it's all in how he said it. I don't think he said it with malice. He
Right.
probably just said in good fun because he
Yeah.
knows your gimmick, man. He knows your gimmick. Let's be
Really?
honest. So
Yeah,
if
I
you're
don't
gonna
know.
dish it out, you got to take it too. That's just part of the deal. I've
Yeah, I
learned that
was
over
just shouting
time.
out my boy Jeremy.
Yeah, well, sometimes it looks like you don't want to be putting the name of. I mean, even though me and Green Bean are obviously I'm backstage at his shows and we're friends,
Yeah.
people might take it the wrong way, like you're trying to promote my channel during his show.
Oh,
So it's
I
not
get that, I guess.
So you got to be careful about things like that. People get touchy.
Yeah, that's probably why.
I don't know. Yeah, I know the schedule doesn't come out till May, but I'm ready. I want to get some dates down. I want to maybe plan a trip or something like that. Maybe
You
go
wanna
to
go
a
on a
game
date
for
with me?
change. I can't wait. Yeah, and not until mid-May is when it comes out. Well after the draft. It's I want to get some dates down and start planning out. Loss.
Yeah.
We should go to a Jets game together this year.
I don't know. It depends.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it.
I'm gonna need security.
Oh my god.
It's tricky. I might miss like one game a year because I got to be with my club. So I mean, even during like the Jets stream, like I think Jeremy, I think we might do like a post draft thing, maybe something like that. But while Ryan O'Leary and Green Bean are doing their thing, I mean, why would we compete with it? Because there's going to be like 1,000 people in it probably.
Yeah, 2,000.
Yeah, we'll do. But yeah, we'll still find a way to do a recap.
Yeah, we should do a recap together with Nick Shine too. The crew.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. You never know. I'll get everybody in and we'll all do our reactions after they go off the air. Like, maybe each night, after each day, like, depending if I'm still up at that time. But,
yeah.
But whatever.
I'd love to go to Lambeau if it just depends what time of year it is. I mean, I feel like that's like one thing that should be on like every sports fan's bucket list if you could do it, is to see a game at Lambeau Field.
I'd love that.
Even in Chicago for 20 years, I never got up to Green Bay. It's like that's about a 5-hour drive. It's not that it's a hike to get up to Green Bay.
Y2K, what is your
J. Cole?
What is your like perfect type of woman? Like, describe your perfect woman.
What? It's getting real high.
All right, do you want me to go first?
What?
Just like his ideal type of woman he wants. Come back, Y2K.
I don't think he's interested in that.
Breathing. End of answer.
Okay. I guess
and that's all anybody really needs to know.
Makes sense.
Hold on, look at this picture.
Maybe not just logical,
Yeah.
Me, Jeremy, and Y2K.
I remember that. Yeah.
I remember that.
I remember that night.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up.
I was in a hotel restroom doing that show with you guys. Just so crazy.
That was funny.
Yeah.
We're gonna wrap it up. So Matt, we'll see you Friday night. I'll send you the details. We'll give you the opportunity to do a draft and run a draft.
Cool.
We'll see how you do. J. Cole did pretty good, so we'll see how you do.
Well, I'll be watching and grading your draft.
Yeah, afterwards, I think we should compare the J. Cole draft to the Matty Ice draft. I think we need to do a little side by side. We need the chat to vote on whose draft they like better.
But you're gonna have to. That means you're gonna have to go back and watch J. Cole's draft, Adam, and write down his picks and everything, so we can.
I'll write it down.
And I'll bring you. I'll bring you in.
I can go to the video and just skip straight to the recap.
That's what I mean. Just go right to the recap and like figure it out.
Sure.
And then, or maybe I'll find it too. If you find like what time it is and send me the time stamp, I'll play that piece of it so we can watch what he picked and then do a comparison. That'll work.
Good. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that this past Friday or what?
Saturday.
Saturday. Okay, no problem.
Good night, Nathan.
Yeah, that's right. Jeremy and I did the show Friday. All right, Saturday. I got it.
Good night, Nathan and Eminon, whoever's left out there.
For those of you who are still with us, God bless you. That is all I can say.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Jets fam. We'll be back on Friday night. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Jets.
Peace on the streets.
Hey.
Oh, my God.
That was great.
Wait, we're not done yet. Don't start saying the goodbyes. I'm trying to get a video to play. I would regret it if people look back at the first episode and you weren't on it.
Yeah, well, I like that. It's called forward thinking.
We have one of the worst beats in the world. We do. Our beat is horrible.
Connor could shove that article up his ass.
And then I went to that game and I was like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen in my life. I'm a Jet fan. This is going to be the greatest run ever. Yeah.
No, because if they take a Quanu, I'm not complaining.
Joe Douglas is the king of keeping shit close to the vest.
A 2, a 4, and a 6 for Darnold?
Did the Jets really ruin Sam Darnold? Or did Sam Darnold just suck all along and we were just trying to talk ourselves into it?
And Hamilton is a player who can potentially make a very big impact.
And suddenly here we are today. You can't get rid of him.
Right. It's like a plague.
Joe Douglas was hired because he's not those general managers.
Okay, Luscious.
Somebody is going to fall just like Elijah Moore did, just like Michael Carter did.
You know, what would, if you had one sentence to say to Joe Douglas, what would you say? So you would say, you had me at hello, and then give him a big old wet one right on the smack.